I hate this stupid ass, ugly ass, fuck ass city that we are trying to become Thane of today. Hello, everybody! Welcome back to Skyrim Sunday. I say nowadays almost every day is our Skyrim day, but Skyrim Sunday's special because it's our like full, big, thick, uncut, girthy, completionist Legacy of the Dragonborn playthrough. So it's like, it's still a little special, you know? But as I implied when I started to stream, we are currently still on our quest to become Thane of every hold, and I wanted to become Thane of FALKREATH, but no one wanted me to help them. Like, I guess I was just too ugly and cringe for them to... I haven't figured out who all I need to help yet. Like, I keep trying to find people to ask them to do shit, and then no one was around, so I was like, I'm bored. Let's go to another city. Fuck it. And now we're in MARKARTH. And you know what? I stand by what I said. MARKARTH is fucking gross. It is probably out of all the holds in Skyrim, it is probably my least favorite. But the people need me. And who am I to deny them what they need? So without further ado, let's get crack-a-lackin'. But happy Memorial Day, by the way, if you're an American. You probably have Monday off from work tomorrow, so I hope you eat lots of yummy food. And if you get the day off of work tomorrow, I hope you enjoy it. And if you don't, I'm sorry, but you know, since it's Memorial Day, we'll be a little extra American today. All right, I'm opening the game. Gentlemen, start your engines. Oh fuck, that's my that's my goddamn Google Calendar. That could have been really fucking bad. That could have been awful. It wasn't, but we were very close. God damn it. Okay, you know what? We're in it. We're so in it. Didn't dox myself today. Twitch 0. EB 1. Perfect. Okay, and now I am small again. All right, let's go racing. Yeehaw. All right. Yeah, me being extra American is just me making more NASCAR references. That's like the most American thing I can think of. I don't know why. Like that, and like, what else is like really American? Probably McDonald's. NASCAR, childhood obesity. Yeah, I think that's about right. Alright, anyway. Let's head back to MARKARTH. So, we got our ass kicked in a dwarven ruin. Surprise to literally no one, considering I have no sauce when it comes to fighting Dwemer. We also have a new dog. Oh wait, no, that's a stray cat. I thought I got a dog. Did I not get a dog? I think that was my other playthrough, actually. I think it was the Jasper playthrough where I got a dog. But we've got the gang here, right? We are doing some stuff to help find, we're doing some stuff to help out, what's his face? Where is he? I also really like the way the lighting looks in this room, not gonna lie. This motherfucker, Calcimo.
Good to see Skyrim still has such fine people.
Thanks.
You give an old man hope.
Yay! I found this expedition journal, so I think we just completed his quest when we left off last time.
Oh, really? This looks like someone from Stubborn's little group.
So I know there's some artifacts here, and apparently this counts for helping people.
If you find Stubborn, it would be good to see any notes he may have collected. I doubt you'll find him alive, though.
Oh, great. Okay. Let's see. Why do you need guards?
To protect my research, for one. There are more cutthroat scholars out there who would steal my findings if they got the chance. And the excavations into Nichuanzel are dangerous. Dwemer machines and traps still function, even after thousands of years.
Okay. Let's see. You're researching the Dwemer? Well, that's kind of a stupid question. Yeah, I think he is. Okay. So, we gotta go. That's just where we were defeated. But we do have a quest that leads us in there. I think it's just the journal we need. So, I guess we still need to find the journal. I guess I thought we just gave him the journal, but we'll head in here. Because regardless, I did get my ass kicked there, so I may as well get that little marker away. But we have a few things to do in here. That's right. Track down the Falmer that almost killed you. Yeah. And then recover the journal. So I guess we haven't recovered the journal quite yet. I thought it said that we did, but I don't know. So Let's head back in here. And the reason that Dwemer... Okay, I don't like Dwemer in general. Like, even before we started playing this character, I've never particularly been a big fan of Dwarven ruins or Dwemer ruins. But the reason in particular I hate them with this playthrough is we're a blood mage, right? So, like, our power, our resources come from just giving everyone the suck, right? Getting their blood and kind of using it against them in a way. But the thing is the Dwemer automatons don't have blood. So I'm kind of useless. And my only other source of magic is cold magic, frost magic, and they're immune to that as well. So we're having a hard time. That's what it is, right? I suck their blood. Not in like a vampiric way. Maybe a sexual way, but like, you know, I give them the little sucky, you know? Is this Roblox dating sim? Absolutely. Is that actually a thing that people do? You know, actually, of course it is. Of fucking course it is. I don't know. I remember when I was an elementary school teacher, whenever I brought up to like kids, because like when you're a teacher, you're supposed to like introduce yourself, and you're never supposed to go like too in depth, you know, but you can't like just say like nothing, because they're like, you need to be like relatable and to the kids and stuff. You gotta reach these kids, you know. And whenever I brought up that, like, I played video games, that was, like, one of my hobbies, there was always, like, 10 kids that were like, do you play Roblox? And I'd be like, no, I'm sorry. And they'd be like, you play Fortnite? And I'm like, no. And then they're like, oh, okay. Like, as soon as they found out I did not play Roblox or Fortnite, they did not give a shit. I just rizzed up my big titty goth GF on Roblox yesterday. Ayo. Good for you, man. Good for you. Too bad you don't have the bush. I kind of, like... Low-key, I kind of want to try a Severin playthrough again, because he got done kind of dirty because my hubris got in the way. Because Severin was the first male character I ever played, so I was like, oh, time to Riz, right? And then I kind of forgot about the story I wrote for him. So I want to see if I can find more, like, druid-type mods and, like, druid spells and experiment with that a little bit more. And I kind of want to I kind of want to bring out Severin again and bring back the bush. Sticking out your gyat for the Rizzler. Yeah, that's where I learned what a gyat was teaching fucking 5th grade band. My sister, I posted on Twitter yesterday, but my sister's not Gen Alpha, but she's 19, right? So she's like, she's not even on the cusp, really, right? But she's a substitute teacher, so she gets all of it too. And her friend made her a friendship bracelet that said "Skimmity Fortnite," and I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of fucking jealous. I was like, wait, I want something that says "Skimmity Fortnite," but with him, the bears go after him. I mean, yeah, you know, that works too. The thing with Severin is he's very, I don't know. I feel like, wait, what? Debuff removed, that's right. Okay, this was the bitch that killed me last time, so now I'm not afraid of the dark anymore. Yippee! I don't know, with Severin though, because Severin is married to the character we're playing right now, Vanya. So he likes women, but like, I feel like he doesn't only like women. You know what I mean? Like, if you were there for the Severin playthrough, you know, right? Like, I feel like he has just a little bit of bisexuality in him. You know what I mean? And I say that as, like, a fellow bisexual. I just feel like he might be a little fruity, you know? I don't know. He is quite literally a flower druid. So, like, can your school of magic that you choose make you gay? Like, I'm not an expert on that. I just know a little bit. I mean, like, I'm gay, but it wasn't magic that made me gay. It was Ruby Rose in Orange is the New Black in 2010. But, oh, hi, big boy. He's zesty. Yeah, that's how I describe him. He's just a little zesty. Yeah, he's a little zesty. But I love him. I love him so much. I love all my characters. Okay, I have... Can I use my blood magic, the sucky on the Falmer? Here, let's try to boil someone's blood. That could be fun. We'll go after you. Okay, that does work on them. Alright, I have to be careful with the blood boil because it's a badass spell because there's a slight chance they will explode. But a lot of my other blood magic spells heal me, and that one doesn't. Also, everything's on fire. And Recorder is once again yapping. Okay, thank you. I love your humming, sweetheart, but please calm down. It is kind of unnerving when she just, like, starts humming casually after, like, talking about how much she loves blood and murder. Like, she really is not like other girls, you know? What made me gay? Antiques and appreciating Persian rugs. That's so fucking real. Okay, there's my destruction up. We'll go after this one since that's what the auto-aim wants me to go after. Oh, holy shit! Oh, they fucked up that rat. No, I want to go to this one. Yeah, that one. There we go. And I just have to be careful to make sure I don't kill myself, because if I cast too many blood magic spells too fast, I will lose all my health because my casting resource is my blood. So we basically have to roleplay that we're just a little anemic. Honestly, Vanya kind of is, because before we took the blood magic route, we had like no points in health. And I think I've gotten better at managing my resources. Like, I don't kill myself as often. It's only like once a stream that I die at my own hand nowadays. So let me quick save real quick. And then we should be good to go. Because we're doing fine right now. Like, the gang is holding it down, you know? But, like, that could change at a moment's notice. What's behind? Oh, wait, that's not a door I want to go in. Okay. Oh, shit. Yeah, I don't think I'm supposed to go in there. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. What is in here, though? Does this just leave us back to... Yeah, that's not where we're supposed to go, but... Kind of cool looking. Okay. Alright, let me head back in here. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! Okay. So hopefully we can find this journal, and then, I don't know, have we, please, thank you so much for the 10-month sub, gamer! I appreciate you. Congratulations on your 10 PlayStation 2s. Welcome to the stream, and thank you so much for your support. We're talking about how some of my old characters are a little zesty. But yeah, I kind of want to do a playthrough of him again. I also want to do a playthrough of my other OC that I talked about on Friday, Freya. I've written about her a lot. She's in my book, but I haven't done a playthrough of her yet. And I've talked about this before, but the thing with her is I really want to try this one Civil War mod called Conquest. But, like, I know it's a big funky mod, right? Basically, the whole plot of the Conquest mod, or I say plot, but it's a mod, right? The whole bit is that it's like you get to basically... It overhauls the Civil War, but it also gives you an option to make your own side in the Civil War, and I kind of fuck with that highly, because my opinion on the Skyrim Civil War is, damn, all of you suck. Only as little zesty. Just a little zesty. We do have zestier characters, though. Like, Jasper's, like, full zesty. Although, Jasper is very much like, I don't care about your gender. If you're hot, we can smash. He is the most pansexual pan that ever sexual. Like... My other character that we have a playthrough ongoing right now, he's real zesty. Okay, so over here's the journal, and then over here, okay, that's the exit. That's where we came from. So where the fuck are we going? Okay, journal. Oh, okay, so I'm supposed... Oh, hey, put that thing away. Okay, brother. All right, let me put a little light out. Welcome in, everybody. Hello. Let me see, because we're supposed to go... Oh, what the fuck? Where are these fuckers coming from? Because I'm supposed to go over here. Like, it says there's something I haven't yeah, how the fuck do I get over there? Because I know I'm supposed to head over here, but I'm like, where? Hello? Let me just phase through your cock real quick. Okay, here. Did I just miss a whole ass tunnel over here? Yeah, it says... Huh? Huh? Is this the way? But there's... How do I... What? No, that's not a path. That's not a fucking path. One hand shoots white out, the other shoots code red. I wish my spells were Mountain Dew. If I could have... Sometimes I get, like... Okay, I know that health regulations are, like, a good thing, right? But sometimes I do feel bad for, like, my friends overseas that can't get Baja Blast whenever they want. I think that, like, you can buy Baja Blast in the supermarket where I live. Like, you don't have to go to Baco Hotel to get it. Yeah, okay, there's got to be another way to get over here. But I'm like, wall. Okay, so I think, let's see. Because it looks like I've cleared out this part and I've cleared out this part. It's just got to be something over here. So we're going to pull out the, where's my old reliable? Here, get rid of my other quest, just so it doesn't get confused. Old reliable. Where is she? Clairvoyance. Yeah. Alright. Where the fuck is we going? Alright, here we go. Sometimes you just need a little help, and that's okay. Oh, we have to go down. I'm stupid. I'm not very wise. There's a torch over there. I don't think we actually have a torch. So let's actually grab that because we might need it later. I have clairvoyance, like, or not clairvoyance, candlelight. I've been meaning to replace it with a better one, but I just never have time, or I always forget, you know? Yeah, okay, the blood magic does work on them. I feel like I'm not doing a whole lot to them, low-key. But also, I feel like just the white light looks fucking awful, okay? The light it used for candlelight reminds me of, like, the fluorescent-ass lights that you have in, like, a public school. Oh, there she goes again.
You actually think you can win?
Thank you, recorder. Very cool. There he goes. Okay. We did get one artifact. Oh, I thought someone was naked for a second. I'm so fucking traumatized from my other playthrough where we have Sophia, and Sophia's the follower that just randomly gets naked. I'm like, okay, everyone here? Does everyone have their clothes on? Okay, fantastic. Keep your clothes on. Thank you. I really appreciate it when everyone keeps their clothes on. Really, really fun pastime of mine. Okay, here's a journal. Bonk, 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 bonk. Take some gold. Is there anything else over here? I mean, I feel like we could explore a little bit more, but the question is... Oh, that's right. We have more journals to recover. Okay, I thought it was just one journal. No, we got all these journals to recover. So, we need to find the rest of them. Hopefully, they're still alive. I don't know about that. Sophia loves to get drunk. Yeah, she loves to get drunk and take her clothes off. So, she would have been very successful at my old college. But, like, this isn't college. This is Skyrim. You know how, like, teachers would say shit where it's like, that's not gonna fly when you get to college. That's what I say. You're in college now, but that's not gonna fly when you get to Skyrim. Okay. Torture chamber. Yummy. Okay. Anything cool over here? Doesn't look like it, but hi, everybody. Let me see. We'll go. Looks like the rest of them are out here, so I don't know if there's... Is that, like, just, like, out, or... Yeah, we have to... It looks like we have to leave to get to the rest of the journals, which is fine. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't done any... I don't think I've done this quest in fucking forever. I feel like I have done it before. It is slightly familiar, but as I said, I don't like MARKARTH. So, like, usually I do Sidna Mine. I go there for the main quest, and I split... Wait, there's a lever back there? Wait, hold on. Curse you, chat delay. Hold on. Let me go back to the blood room. My favorite room, the blood room. Was this the blood room? No, that was just the cringe room, I guess. I don't fucking know. Hold on. Blood room. Blood room, blood room, blood room. Where are we killing people? I want to see where you killed people. I didn't even see a lever back here. Hold on. Let me get a little light in here. Oh. Oh! You know, I thought I was gonna get, like, a cool, funky treasure chest, but now I just have murder. I'm sure there's someone that's into that. I mean, everyone likes to get impaled every once in a while. You know, that's cool. Can make a fuck ton of gold in MARKARTH with just quest. Really? Okay. Wait, there's silver I can just take? Okay, I'm taking all that silver in the treasury as a tax for me being here. I'm just so important that the city pays me taxes. I don't pay the city taxes. They pay me, okay? They're like, here you go, Evie. Sorry you had to... Sorry. Honestly, I could sue, like, I know there's no, like... I mean, there is a court of law in Skyrim, but there's no, like, legal system, right? You know? Like, if there was, I could sue the shit out of MARKARTH because they wrongfully arrested me. That was so fucked up. Why'd they do that, right? I didn't get representation. I didn't even get read my fucking Miranda rights, right? I could sue the hell out of MARKARTH, and I'd make bank. So, yeah, I'm going to walk in the treasury. I'm going to take their money, okay? No taxation without representation. Happy Memorial Day. That's not what that means in this context, but it applies nonetheless. I had no representation. I don't know. Which Skyrim NPC would you want to defend you in a court of law? Because, like, my instant thought is, like, none of them. But I feel like there's a few Skyrim NPCs that would make good representation, you know? I don't know. I feel like Delphine would be a good person to have on your side. You know what I mean? Oh, fuck, that's a new map. That's not where I need to go. Fuck. But I feel like Delphine would be good. I feel like, did you guys watch Law and Order? Like, I never watched the original Law and Order, but I used to watch a fuck ton of SVU. You know what I mean? I feel like Astrid would be like a really slimy defense attorney. You know what I mean? I feel like that would be her, right? Whereas Delphine would be like the ADA or some shit. No, I used to love watching SVU. Sometimes the plot lines on SVU get a little, like, when SVU first started, it was just like, damn, people are out here getting raped and murdered. That's really fucked up. It's like, damn, yeah, that is fucked up. But now it's like, sometimes it gets a little, I don't want to say quirky, because I don't want to describe, like, crime as quirky. You know, I feel like that's just generally a no-no. I guess maybe the word I'm looking for is out there. Some of the plot lines of, like, recent episodes of SVU are like, oh, wow, okay, alrighty. So, I don't know, that doesn't mean I dislike them, though. Sometimes them being, like, really out there is part of why it's, like, interesting to watch. You know what I mean? Parthenax would do really well as a lawyer. I agree. I bet he would slay. He would absolutely slay. Also, who's gonna, like, legal knowledge aside, right? Who's gonna argue against a dragon? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's just, no one's gonna do that. Okay, do I just need to go swim through the fucking, is there a way to get up there? Because I'm assuming that's where I need to go, is up there. So let's actually come back over here. Now we know what door we need to go into. Because I'm assuming we're not supposed to just swim in front of the wall. Although it'd be really funny if that was the plan. But let's take a look up here and see what's going on. Let's see. It was, oh, are you guys fighting somebody? I just saw the little subtitle that had Lydia going, yeah! Maybe she just wanted to say yeah. That's okay, too. Okay. Hey, buddy. Yeah, is there a way I can get over there without, like, there's gotta be a, like, ladder or something up there, right? Because this, where's the connection to that little, like, walkway? That's what I'm looking for. Hi, Kimia! Welcome in, gamer. Let me see. Because I think maybe if I go across here, there might be one. I am very directionally challenged. Like, I've always known I'm directionally challenged, but I thought it was limited to, like, just Skyrim. It's not. I mentioned this on another stream. But I started playing World of Warcraft, and the way this came about is a bunch of David's coworkers are really into Final Fantasy XIV, and a bunch of the people I work with are really into Final Fantasy XIV. So David, I think this is where we need to go. David decided to try Final Fantasy XIV. And he wasn't really a big fan of it because the leveling process was, for beginners, not great. And even talking to my friends that really like Final Fantasy, they're like, yeah, it's not good. It's not fun. That was kind of the consensus. And David literally was like, I'm gonna be real with y'all. This just makes me want to go back and play World of Warcraft. Because David's been playing World of Warcraft since he was, like, really young, right? So he has, like, a lot of nostalgia for the game. So he started playing it again. And I tried Final Fantasy XIV a while back, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I just went in a fucking circle, god damn it. But I was like, okay, all right, I can. This is neat, but it didn't like suck me in. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like super head over heels for it, if that makes sense. Yeah, Lydia's fighting somebody. I don't know what's going on over there. Yeah, is there a way I can like? This is the armory. I'm just wondering if there's an easier way up there, because I feel like I don't see pathway at all. Here, where's Old Reliable? Thank you, Old Reliable. But he asked me if I wanted to play World of Warcraft with him, and I was like, yeah, I'll try it. I'm down. All right, does clairvoyance not work in the water? I guess not. I'm wondering if that's what I'm wondering, is if there like a little pathway like hidden within the water. The water doesn't look very clean. The game audio seems kind of low. Oh, let me turn it up a little bit then. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. Let me see. Bunk. Okay, there we go. That should be better. Meow. Thankfully, I didn't forget to... It wasn't completely muted this time, so progress. But David started playing World of Warcraft again, and he asked me if I wanted to play with him, right? Because David and I, like, we both play games, but we don't play a lot of games, like, together. You know what I mean? Like, we have pretty different tastes when it comes to gaming, which is fine, you know? There's nothing wrong with that, you know? You don't have to do everything with your partner, and that's okay, right? But we wanted, like, a game we could play together. Because what it used to be is we used to play, like, Teamfight Tactics together a lot. We used to play, like, League together a lot. And David's kind of just not been vibing with Teamfight Tactics. And he definitely does not vibe with League. Also, I'm going to go in through here and see if there's a way I can get up there through this building. Because I have no fucking idea how to get up there, deadass. I don't know. But if nothing else, it's, like, more to explore, right? So... I tried World of Warcraft, and as we all know, by, if you've seen the full body art of my model, We don't have full body art of my model right now because she doesn't have legs. But you can kind of see in a lot of the designs, my model is based off myself in real life, right? And I'm a little thickums. I'm a little thick, right? And I like that about myself. I like my body a lot. It's been like a hard, like, I really like that my VTuber looks like me. You know what I mean? But also, like, sometimes, I don't know. I think this is really stupid. But I looked at the Pandaren race in World of Warcraft, and I was like, damn, they build just like me. And I kind of fell in love with it from there. And I do like the game a lot. I'm almost at level 20, so I'm going to have to start paying for it soon. But David said he'd pay for my subscription if I played with him. But I'm kind of obsessed with the Pandaren. They're super cute. So I have a little Pandaren girl. And I didn't know what to name her, but my cat, Jetmir, walked across the keyboard while I was making my character. And it was just the letters B and like N, but it was like a shit ton of N, so it just looked like Bin. So we decided to name her Bin because that's what Jetmir wanted. You know, that's what my cat decided, and I was like, you know what? Let's go with it. Let's go with Bin the Pandaren. Hell yeah. So I like her a lot. She's really cute. I think I posted a picture of her in Discord. And a few people in the Discord community have been talking about WoW and stuff a lot. I am thinking about, like, I don't know if I want to stream it. You know? And I've talked about this before. But, like, there are some games where it's like, I really like playing them. I don't like streaming them. There are some games where I feel like I'm really good at streaming them, but I'm not good at playing them. You know what I mean? And I don't know how World of Warcraft would be with that. But I might try it. Let me know if you guys would be down for a WoW stream. I'm not good at the game. Just point blank, period. I'm not good at it. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Maybe David would come too. Who knows? But like, a few people have expressed interest in like doing like a WoW community guild, which I'm not opposed for, but I want to see if it's like, will I play WoW on stream? And is it something I do like maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, you know? Because it feels kind of silly to have like a guild for like if I didn't play the game on stream, it'd feel silly. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. And if we wanna do, oh shit. Okay, there we go. But if we want to do WoW stuff, we can do WoW stuff. But if not, that's okay too. You know, I'm really happy with where my content is right now. But it also means that doesn't mean I'm like opposed to trying new stuff. You know, it's just one of those things where it feels like I try new stuff a lot, and then every time I try something new, I want to play Skyrim instead. Has been the theme. But I also really like WoW. Like, it's the first game where I've been able to kind of like, I don't know. I usually don't I don't get like super invested in a lot of games I play, it feels like. Also, why is this not? There we go. I think it was the other person had a shield out or something. Yeah. But I don't get like super invested in video games anymore a whole lot. Like, I used to be able to kind of like let myself get self-absorbed in video games for like hours, right? Especially when I was younger, you know? And like, it doesn't, and part of it was because it was Skyrim, you know? But like, I feel like I don't get that as much anymore as an adult, but I've kind of got that with WoW, you know? I'm kind of fucking with WoW, and I have like a little backstory come up with my Pandaren too. Is this what we call special interest? I'm not sure if it's special interest autism territory quite yet, but I was at my parents' house today, and I did have a moment of like, damn, I haven't played World of Warcraft in 2 days. This is kind of fucked up. Never played WoW or watched someone play it, so would love to see it. Oh, cool. Well, maybe we'll try it then. This is going to be my last quote-unquote normal. Oh, shit. Okay, guys, help me. I can't do anything against these guys. Help me. Thank you. I can't do fucking anything against the Dwemer shit. My magic is blood and ice, and you don't have any blood. Yeah, bitch has no blood. I mean, yeah, because they don't do ice magic either. Yeah, he resisted it. Help me. Guys, I can't. They're killing me. Help me. Help. My magic is useless here. Please be the main character for like 3 seconds, please. Thank you. Thank you, Lydia. I love you. Even if you were kind of weird to me that one time. Okay, very good. Awesome. But yeah, Did I get... No, I thought I turned my tits on. I guess I forgot to put my tits on. All right, I guess I'll pay the penalty for that. I almost said I'll pay the death penalty. It's like, those are not the same. But yeah. I did choose Alliance because I didn't realize Pandaren could be either. I don't know what it was. I guess I just, like, never saw it. Yay! Or anything. So I am an Alliance character right now. But if we do a guild for the community, I'll put it up to a vote. Vote? I almost said vor. I don't know why I said vor. I'll put it up to a vote. Okay. I'll put it up to a vote. But it seems like a lot of people that we're talking about were thinking about wanting to do Horde. So we might do Horde. We could be the Horde whores. It would be great. We can all... Does WoW have e-girls? Can we all just be e-girls in WoW? It has e-girls, David?
Yes.
We can all be WoW e-girls together! Like a unified front of Horde whores. That would be great. Oh my god, it would pay dividends. Okay, let me see. Now what's going on over here? Lever? Oops, I forgot to put my boobs on. Listen, I forget my boobs all the time. I remember I saw a Tumblr post way back when that was like, if my boobs weren't attached to my body, I would forget them. What if I would leave my boobs at a friend's house and call them up and be like, hey, can I swing by in like an hour? I lost my boobs. Have you seen them? Put a fucking Apple AirTag on each one. Like one for the left boob, one for the right boob, you know? For the Horde, yes. I feel like it'd be fun, you know? I feel like it'd be fun. It'd be in the spirit of friendship. I don't know. When I was younger and I used to play a lot of League of Legends, this is not my proudest moment. Can I be a confession? Can I make a confession? When I was younger, I used to be like a massive e-girl on fucking League of Legends. This is before I was dating David. Oh damn, he's not gonna. Well, actually, you know what? I'll let them just tussle. I'll let them tussle. I'm not gonna do their thing. We'll just see how this ends up, and we'll let the homies handle it. But I absolutely used to be a fucking e-girl on League of Legends. It helped that I was a support player. It did admittedly make things easier, but a lot of times I didn't even like ask people to buy me skins. It just kind of happened, and I just kind of went with it. And then they'd get really weird, and then I would block them. Like, I wasn't even, like, okay, maybe I tried a little bit, you know? But a lot of me trying really was just me being nice to people. Like, I feel like that's the thing, is if you are, like, a girl in a, like, gamer space, and you're just nice, like, you're just generally pleasant, people will interpret that as flirting. I remember I actually used to play on an Overwatch team with my friend Metang. And to practice, you know, playing on a team, you have to play the game, right? That makes sense, right? And I remember being, like, really nervous to talk in voice chat. Especially because, like, I mained Mercy, Moira, and Baptiste. And they were all kind of girly characters, you know? So I didn't really say much because I kind of have a voice that's, like, a little bit higher pitched anyway. And I wasn't super comfortable with, like, shot calling or anything like that. You know what I mean? Here, I'm gonna just tussle him real quick just to get him moving. Are you guys, wait, are we fighting? Oh, I guess we're not fighting. But, that's what I would do, is I wouldn't say shit. But Metang would get in the call, and she would just start shot calling like crazy. Like, she would be calling out, oh, yeah, now we're tussling, okay. And she would be like, on it, you know what I mean? And nobody fucked with her, right? But if I said something and I was just like, hi, bam, bam, just like, oh, bitch, whore, slut, skank, and it's just like, what happened to hello? What happened to how are you? You know, I don't understand. Well, I do understand, but like, if they ever add voice chat into League of Legends, I think that's just gonna be the nail in the coffin for society as a whole. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of get why it's in Valorant, you know, because you need, like, call-outs and stuff. And, League maybe would benefit from it, but, like, I feel like it doesn't need it. And I feel like if they, like, and they kind of have voice chat in League, but no one really uses it. Like, they have League voice, but I don't know anyone who uses League voice. Dead ass, you know? But it's just, no. If we add League of Legends or if we add voice chat to League of Legends, we're cooked. Okay, we're more cooked than we already are. That's just the reality. That's my opinion. Toxicity singularity. It really would be. It really would be. I don't play Overwatch anymore. I tried Overwatch 2 for a little bit. Because I took a really long break for the game when Overwatch 2 came out, and I tried it a few months back, and I guess it's just like one of those things where it's like, I haven't played it in so long. I got into an Overwatch 2 match, and I immediately was like, what the fuck is going on, and who are these people? Like, there's like so many new characters now, like Kiriko and shit, and again, that's kind of silly for me to say as a League player, because like, League releases a new champion like all the fucking time, you know what I mean? Oh, I think we went in the wrong room, but that's okay. But like, it was just like, I don't know, cause like with League of Legends, right? And I'm never gonna stream League, right? I've been on some of my other friends' streams where I'm playing League with them, but I'm never gonna stream League here, okay? Because I don't want y'all to see who I am when I play League, right? The way I play League is like when your mom starts drinking and she locks the fucking door because she doesn't want you to see her like that, right? That's me, okay? I don't want y'all to know, well, okay, you can know, but not here, not in my house. You know, if it's someone else's house, that's fine. But like, I'm not gonna stream League. Also because like, I don't know, I'm just afraid of streaming League. People are crazy. People are insane. Like, I make one misstep and they're in my Twitch chat doxing me. Like, goddamn. Like, people do that shit, though. They do that shit. But, anyway, the whole, like, oh, I just did can I get out, actually, this way? I don't know. But that's the thing, is, like, with League, there's, like, downtime, right? Like, the games are longer, but you're walking the lane. You have, like, chill time before you're, like, going, right? You're farming, you know. Sometimes people ain't even ganking till level 6. Like, it's chill, right? But with Overwatch, it's just go, 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 right? And sometimes I just don't have the mental capacity for that, you know? Sometimes I'm not fucking with that, you know? So, I don't know. I liked Overwatch, but I don't think I could ever get back into it. Because I don't have time to, like, get good at it again. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't understand what's going on with Overwatch anymore. Okay. So it looks like, hello? It says there's Falmer back here, but where? It's fucking dark in here. Okay, here we go. Up there is where we need to go. I don't think have we been in here yet? I feel like it's familiar, but I'm not sure. No, we've been in here. Apparently we're cleared out now. Okay, cool. Hi, Vader! Welcome in, gamer. Let me see. How's the Skyrim? Hi, gamer. We are Skyrimming, okay? We're in MARKARTH. Cringe, right? But we are on our way to help the people of MARKARTH. I think we're 2 out of 5 people we need to help because we're trying to become Thane, you know? I want to be Thane of every hold, and I took a break from FALKREATH because it made me mad because I couldn't find people to help. I guess I'm just so ugly and disgusting. No one wanted me to help them. I felt like the fucking kid from Up, like going up to people in MARKARTH, like, are you in need of any assistance today? And no one was in need of assistance. The only part of Overwatch I'm interested in is the God tier 3D hentai. You're so real for that. You're so fucking right, though. Like, Overwatch 3D hentai is what's holding the world together, okay? And I stand by that. EB, you are the prettiest girl in school. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Hi. I've got all the genos. Hello.
Good to see Skyrim still has such fine people. You give an old man hope.
Yay! Okay, I found this exposition journal. I found a lot of them.
Let's see. Ah, so that's what happened to Stauben.
Stauben.
Tragic. But I warned him he was leading those people on a fool's errand. Unfortunately, sometimes the stone of scholarship is built on the foundation of death.
Holy shit, that's kind of a hard line. The stone of scholarship is built on the foundation of death. How many mods do you have downloaded? Currently, I think it's around 850. If you type !mod list, there's a link to the mod pack that I use, but I've also added a bunch of other shit on top of that. So I have my mod watch there too. Okay, cool. So I guess that's that then. The answer is yes. Pretty much. How much do we have for helping people in MARKARTH? How'd we do? So that's still only 2 out of 5, which is like, But we did complete the quest. Let me see if there's anything I can actually do potions with real quick, just to like clear out some shit. Here we go. Hag Raven Feathers, Harada, bam. Do I have anything else? Ba-ba-doo. Ba-ba-boo. Ba-ba-ba. Yay! Okay, great. Cool. Alright, what are you grinding up there? The ultimate Skyrim experience. Hey, we've been playing for 40 minutes, and it hasn't crashed at all. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty poggers, if I do say so myself. Shit has no right to be as good as it is. Yeah, that was crazy. I'm like, something about the Overwatch 2 hentai. Listen, like I said before, I'm a thick gal, okay? I am part of the thick thighs committee. And something about seeing everyone get so excited about fat May ass was like, damn, maybe I can be pretty after all. Body positivity and hot bitches. That's what I'm about. All right, let's take I went the wrong fucking way. Yeah, trying to stop that shit encourages the people into it. Yeah, if they hadn't done anything, I think it would have calmed down. But literally, as soon as they're like, no, don't make hentai of it, people are gonna make fucking hentai of it. Like, that, okay, literally, when I first started VTubing, okay, way back when, I say way back when, but it wasn't that long ago. It was back in 2020 when I first started. I wasn't even using this model. I had a completely different OC, right? I didn't even go by EB Games. I went by a different name entirely. It still was like something based off of Eevee, but it wasn't EB. You know what I mean? I feel like Eevee, like I still go by Eevee a lot because I work with VTubers for a living, and Eevee sounds like a little bit more professional, even though it's still like a fake name, you know? Like, I hate to break it to you, my legal name is not Eevee. Nor is it EB. And my last name isn't Games either. I'm really sorry you had to find out this way, right? Well, like, I remember when I was streaming, I actually, and I've talked about this before, but I used to, like, since I was still a teacher and since I was still in public schools, I was super afraid of people finding my Twitch. You know, like, people I worked with, students I worked with finding my Twitch. And my whole thought was, just in case someone finds my Twitch, I need to make it as, like, have the least amount of, like, beef someone could give me for it as possible, right? So I actually used to be a family-friendly streamer way back in the day, right? But then I started teaching, and then I realized I don't give a shit. You know, like, the parents at my school did not give a shit. If I was at a different type of school, it would have been one thing. But the parents at, like, if it was, like, a lot of helicopter parents, it'd be different, you know? But the parents at the schools I worked at, they didn't have fucking time to look up their teachers on Facebook, much less on Twitch, you know? So, okay, that counts for one. Cool. But to safeguard myself, pretty much all my content was very family friendly, you know, and obviously if you watch me for more than like 10 minutes, you know that is very much not the case now, right? But I remember someone like mentioned at one point, one of their friends that watched me wanted to draw hentai of me, and at the time I was kind of freaked out about it because it's like just one of those things where it's like, I feel like regardless of what kind of content you do as a VTuber, if someone like pulls up and it's just like, hey, can I make hentai of you? It's kind of like the first time it happens, you're like, oh, you want to jack off to me. I see. Like, it's just kind of like, oh, you know? But basically, I kind of was just like, damn, wait, and it kind of fucked with me. And I had a lot of people I knew that kind of went through similar situations. And this is, like, it's kind of sad because people on the internet just don't respect people's boundaries, you know? Because I feel like a lot of people forget that, like, this sounds really obvious, but I feel like a lot of people forget that VTubers are, in fact, people. Like, I'm a real-ass person, believe it or not. I know, it's shocking, right? Whoa! Wait, why'd I stumble? Jeez, okay.
Good to see you.
But basically, I remember, but that's the thing is, anytime, it felt like someone would come out and say, hey, please don't make hentai of me, please don't draw NSFW of me, people would, like, do it out of spite sometimes. Like, once they were told, don't do this, people would be like, I'm gonna do it, you know, which is, like, on one hand, it's the internet, right? People on the internet are gonna do what they're gonna do. Right? The way I've seen a lot of VTubers do it, especially like Hololive, like corporate VTubers, is it's like, they know they can't stop people from drawing hentai of them, so they're like, okay, if you draw hentai of me, don't put in the official art tag. I don't want to see it. And I think that's fair, you know? For me personally, Now, if you want to draw hentai of me, I would be flattered. There is hentai of me out there, actually, if you know where to look, right? But you know what? If you wanna draw hentai of me, knock your socks off. You know, I would, especially when the new model with the tentacles come out. I encourage it. You know what I mean? You know? But at the time, I was kind of like, and I think it was also because I was still just new to, like, having an internet presence in general. At the time, I was kind of like, oh, you know? But now I'm just kind of like, you want to take your dick out for me? For me? Wow. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's always a great time to join an Eevee stream. I mean, someone told me, they were like, would you ever, because we were talking about doing, like, one of the NSFW arts I got was for, it was for, like, a donathon goal. Okay, it's up here. And someone asked, I was like, we could do that again. And someone was like, would you get art of you fucking Alduin? And I was like, like, I don't know if this makes me like a weirdo, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't find like shit like that hot. Like a lot of hentai I just genuinely find kind of funny. Like it makes me laugh, you know what I mean? Like that didn't gross me out. I was just like,
why are you bothering the outsider?
That's hilarious.
I don't.
Okay, Klepper has work for newcomers apparently.
If you find work, just do what you're told.
There would be no stopping the hentai at that, or the hentai at that. Yeah, I think. Listen, if you want to draw, here's the thing. My only thing with people that draw fan art NSFW of me, all I ask is like, do your best, because I know a lot of people don't have experience drawing plus size bodies, and that's chill. You know, I don't mind that. But just if you make me like bone skinny, like try your best to still make me kind of thick. Because my model's based off my IRL self, you know what I mean? But if you don't, that's okay, you know? Because I know a lot of artists, you know, when you learn how to draw, a lot of times, you know, stuff like that doesn't come up, you know? So it's like, it's a request, but not a requirement, right? The only thing I ask is please don't make, like, like, feederism fetish art of me. Because, like, I don't want to be a bummer, you know? But, like, I did suffer with an eating disorder at one point, right? Not gonna go in depth with it, but when you go through something like that, and then you see feederism kink art of yourself, it certainly does evoke some emotions. It certainly is, something. The weirdest part of it was, like, I didn't even really know, like, I didn't know the person. Like, they weren't active in the community. They didn't even follow me on Twitter, which is where they posted it, right? I just got a tag in something, and it was like, bam! Inflation! And I was like, oh, like, it kind of fucked me up. Like, I was in the middle of teaching, and I saw it on Twitter, and this one student I have, like, a really good relationship with, because, like I said, I teach VTubers for a living, right? I teach VTubers how to sing. And I work with all adults now, right? Which is great, right? But I was kind of, like, fucked up. And he was like, are you okay, by the way? You seem kind of out of it. And I was like, bro, I'm going to be real with you. Someone just posted inflation art of me on Twitter. And I don't know how to react to it. And he's like, oh, my God. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, that's valid. I wouldn't know how to react either. Okay, so apparently it's in here. Yeah, here we go. We need to steal the statue of Debella. Apparently this is helping the people of Markarth, I guess. I'm not complaining. If it helps me become Thane, then, like, alright, you know. But yeah, it was definitely a, oh, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Oh, sneaky. I gotta be sneaky. It was definitely a weird experience. So that's, like, my only request. Is, if you draw hentai of me, please don't, oh, god damn it.
Stay where you are. The mother will deal with you.
Fine.
Here she is.
Great. I did, in trying to help the people. I'm just trying to help the people of Markarth by stealing the sex statue. Hope that's cool. Hope that's chill. I just... Yep. Can I just leave? I'm afraid this is gonna become a sex thing when they catch me. Can I just skedaddle?
And just what do you think you're doing?
I was just curious.
Unfortunately for you, we don't allow the
Sorry.
initiated into the inner
This is a quest requirement you can't sneak past? Ah, that's lame.
And must pay the penalty.
What's the penalty? Ignore that.
Normally, a period of servitude. Luckily for you, there are more pressing matters.
Oh, that's right. It's finding the Sybil.
I don't suffice to
That's right. We have this quest in
our young Sybil. We believe
in the other playthrough too. And I didn't want to do it because, like,
as soon as possible.
oh fuck, yeah, we can't. Okay, is this gonna count as helping? If this counts as helping, then I guess we'll do this one too, because it is the people of Markarth, so I guess we'll go find the Sybil. I was kind of nervous to do this quest with Jasper. We got sex things? No, we failed at finding sex things. We got caught, but now we have to go find the Sybil for the Sisters of Dibella and all that jazz. I was kind of nervous to do this quest with, like, with Jasper, because with the way the Temple of Dibella works in this mod pack makes me kind of like, he was kind of sussy, you know what I mean? But we'll see how this goes. But yeah, so like that's pretty much my deal with I don't feel like talking to you. I think that's a sex thing. The thing with hentai of me is just like, go for it. I think if you want to draw like generic hentai of me getting railed, right? Even hentai of like tentacles railing me, that's cool, right? But if you draw me like, maybe I shouldn't give an example, actually. It's like, if you're gonna draw porn with me, just don't make it weird and don't make it cringe, you know? Like, is that an acceptable level of terms? You know, does that make sense? But yeah, it fucked me up the first time, like, someone offered to draw hentai of me. But then, of course, years later, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna commission hentai of myself. Look at me! It was actually one of the person that drew my hentai was a former student of mine. And she was really nice. I knew her for a while, and I taught her for about like a year or two, I believe. And I texted her as Puds. We've rated her a few times. I was like, hey girl, how have you been? Can I pay you to draw porn of me? And she was like, oh my god, yes! She did a great job, and it was really fun because I know she drew it on one of her streams, like her Patreon streams, and apparently her viewers really enjoyed watching me get railed. So like, shout out to Puds and her community. Wonderful group of people. Let's see, so that's Hilda the goat. I'm not looking for a goat, I'm looking for a woman. Can I get a woman? Hello? Where's the lady? Is it in Karthwasten? Is that it? Maybe that's it. It's quite a lore. I mean, yeah, you know, it's chill. That's what they said, right? This future Sybil of Dibella. Yeah, because it's not marked on our map. Alright. Old reliable. Old reliable. Do we just get nothing? How is this not an active quest? Alright, I guess we'll have to go just talk to people in Karthwasten. She's been kidnapped. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't think I've ever done this quest before. So let's just ask around, I guess, to see if we can get some info. That is, let's see. Are any of these like open? Are there any stores around here? I feel like I hear voices, but that could just be my followers, you know? I don't know. But yeah. I am really excited though, because here we go, there's a person I can talk to. I am really excited though, because Offguy Expo is soon. And basically,
if the Forsworn are attacking town,
oh, here we go.
The Nords are trying to. Oh my.
Oh my. The way he said that, it's like a young girl's been kidnapped. Oh my. Like, okay. Trouble with the mind? Yeah, if we can do this one and the other one, we might be able to get to 5.
The Silverbloods are trying to muscle in on my land.
Sorry if you hear the ice from my cup jiggling around. It's not very good ASMR, I know.
They won't let anyone work until I sell it off.
What if I convince him to leave?
You can try, but I'd keep your sword.
I officially hit 6K hours. Congratulations! Okay, here we go. This might be what we need, actually. This might be the last 2 quests we need, and then we can get the fuck out of Markarth. I fucking hate Markarth. Okay. So it looks like this was the guy we need to talk to? Yeah, here we go. We'll do this one, and then we'll do the mine thing, just to get that going. But if we do this, if both of these count, then I think we're done, and we should be able to be, well, how much money do we have? I think we might need to pull from the treasury, but I think we'll have enough money for it to buy the house. Because the thing is, we have to help the people, and then we have to buy the house in Markarth, too. I'm looking for a young girl who lives around here.
Damn it, woman. Are you trying to taunt us?
Why'd he say it like that? Damn it, woman. Like, uh-huh. What are you talking about?
Our daughter, Fiotra, was taken from here. The Forsworn descended and they didn't touch
Hi,
anything else,
Lord.
just our little girl.
Did you do the main quest for Markarth to get the house available? Do you mean the, what was it? What am I looking for? The Sidna Mine stuff, or like the main quest? I've been lurking off you, so I've been losing track. That's okay. No, I appreciate you. Where'd they take her?
It was the Forsworn from.
Because right now we haven't done anything in the main quest. The one, yes, I have done Sidna Mine. So, oh yeah, your daughter is the Sybil of Dibella.
She, really? Well, that's I wouldn't have dreamed.
I don't know what Sybil of Dibella implies, but the way the Temple of Dibella worked in, the mod pack makes me kind of nervous for her. Like, it kind of feels like some Handmaid's Tale type shit, not gonna lie. But that's not because of the base game, that's because the mod pack made the Temple of Dibella slut center. Oh, she's getting sacrificed. Oh. Well, that's unique. She's the speaker of Dibella. Okay. We'll have to see what happens. But it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't know if we're gonna do that question. I don't know, man. It could have some weird implications there. So we are gonna really quick do the mine thing, because I don't think that's gonna take super long. Yeah, we're in control of this mercenary. That's cool. Let me just do some talkie. She's the chosen one for the goddess to speak to her followers. Okay, that's fine, right? Because when Jasper went to the Temple of Dibella, he just like fucked everyone there, and it had some weird implications about like that feels like taking a kid to Hooters. You know what I mean? Like taking a child, even if she's the symbol of Dibella, to the Temple of Dibella. It feels like going like taking your kid to Hooters and saying you're going because the wings are good. You know what I mean? I was kind of like. But maybe that was just a Jasper thing. Vanya is... Well, she's not normal. She kills people and sacrificed a child in a blood ritual, but she's not a freak, you know? Like, she's adjusted, kind of. Hi.
The mine is closed.
She just kind of disappears. Oh, great. Why haven't you... Who's in charge here?
I'm not from here. I'm a sellsword. These are my men.
She has yeah, Vanya, like, she has standards, okay? If she's killing someone, it's for a reason. Or for science, okay? So, like, they're... I want you and your men to leave. Yeah, that's my thought. It's like, it's very NSFW, right? I don't want to bring a kid into that. Like, that's what I'm saying. It feels kind of Handmaid's Tale, you know what I mean? I'm kind of like, ugh, you know? But I wasn't sure if that was, like, in lore. Like, it's probably just the mod pack, you know? But, like,
Helping out Ainathatch, huh? Give me a reason not to plunge a dagger in your chest.
I will explode your organs.
Dealing with a mob wouldn't be good.
My Riz! Yay! That's why I worship Molag Ball. I don't know, that's better, bestie! Which child did we sacrifice? I can't remember. If it was an annoying one, then that's fine. Yeah, I don't remember. But apparently that worked. Okay, cool. Vanya is apparently very threatening. Her Riz is 50, but she just was like, you need to leave. And he was like, okay, all right. So I guess she is kind of scary. I don't know. Do you guys still think... I don't know. We talked about this when we first created her. Do you guys think she looks like Skylar White? Because I'm still not sure. Oh, you can't really see in here. I can't think of a reason. Listen. Whenever people say they worship Molag Bal, sometimes I'm like, now hold on a second. Is it because of the cool mace? Then like, okay. But if it's because of the... Then I'm going to be... bombastic side eye. I like being an asshole in Skyrim. Okay, yeah, that's fair. I feel like worshiping Molag Bal is like the most asshole thing you could do. So like that works. That fits. Thank you for the hydrate, Kimia. It's best just not. Yeah, we're just gonna not think. we're just gonna stop thinking for a little bit. You know, just no more thoughts. Head empty. But anyway, this is Vanya. We did give her an overhaul. Do you think she looks like Skylar White? Be honest. My name is Skylar White, yo. Elders goes online. Molag is all right. That's fair. That's fair. She does, man. Man. Okay, here we go. I need to like recreate that scene with like Skylar and Jesse from Breaking Bad, but put like Jasper and Vanya's pictures over it. That would be funny. All right, those soul swords won't be a problem now.
That won't be the last we hear from the Silverbloods, but at least we can get back to work.
Nice.
Thank you. You've done a good thing.
Worship Mana Marco is probably even more assholes. At least with Molag Bal, there's a possibility of getting some power of it. Manny gets you nothing. Oh damn. My name is Skylar White. Yo, boom. Yeah, should I do that? Should I make that edit? Is that worth it? Yeah, it is. It would be funny. All right, I might do that later. I'm really busy right now, but it might. I think it might be worth it to waste some time making. Listen, if people say they want silly edits of my OCs, I'm gonna make time for that. Whenever people are like excited about my original characters, it brings me immense joy. Like I know that like look at him, he's just sitting. Look at him sitting. Aw, Lucian, you're so cute.
Deliberately obtuse.
Oh.
And you are being nosy.
Oh.
Hey, fair enough.
I love them. I think they should kiss. Like, I'm sorry. I think Lucian and Inigo should kiss. Can we have yaoi in Skyrim? I think we should have some yaoi in Skyrim. They're just like, I don't know, they're kind of cute together. I like their banter a lot, you know? He lets me kill people and I get something out of it. I mean, if you're thinking, if you know you're gonna be like killing a bunch of people, like mechanics wise, yeah, I get it. It's just one of those things where I guess it's like a fiction versus reality. As long as you're not just like, I like Molag Ba because he's all about raping people, then I'm gonna be like, but if it's just like, I want free shit for killing people, then like, alright. Alright. The Night Mother allows me to get gold for killing people. Well, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone. Alright, hello. Forsworn, I'm here to ruin your day. Hello. My favorite Daedra is definitely Hermaeus Mora. But if you've seen the Skyrim model, then you could figure that out, you know? You could figure that out. Alright, where is he at? Yeah, as long as you're like, because, and that's the thing, is it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's a video game, but if people did have that reason, I'm gonna be like, but like, that's fine. If I could, I'd fight Molag Bal for what he did to Serana. I honestly, same. Like, that's the thing, is it's like, for me, yeah, the powers can be cool, but like, wait, are they singing together? They're singing together! Oh my god, they're so cute! Can we play, bro, I need them to kiss on the lips. I need them to kiss on the lips so bad. Also, that's the wrong way. Play ESO and do the main quest. You know what? Fair. Actually, yeah. Good on ESO for giving you the option to avenge Serana. God bless. But they're so cute. I wish, I don't know. Did you guys ever play Dragon Age Inquisition? Because I wish, like, I know a lot of follower mods interact with each other. You know how, like, in Inquisition, if you didn't romance... Oh, God, what was his name? It was Iron Bull and, the guy with the mustache. Fuck, what was his name? I don't remember his name. But, if you didn't romance either of them, they started dating. And I thought that... Dorian! Yeah! And I thought that was really, really cute. I wish that could happen with your Skyrim followers. Like... I think it would be cute if it would just, like, randomly have 2 of them, like, get together and, like, flirt with each other or stuff like that. I think that would be really, like, I don't know. I think it'd be quirky. I think it'd be cute, you know? So let me see. Where do we need to go? I don't see. I know I've cleared this. Oh, don't step on the drip. I know I've cleared this out already, so maybe there is no one here. But I don't know. I guess we just gotta go get her, you know? Been trying to get them together forever. You're so valid. You are so valid. Yeah, Serana's, like, backstory is one of those things where it totally, like, I don't know. I feel like I should have picked up on it, but I just didn't. And then someone pointed it out to me in a TikTok comment, and I was like, oh. Oh. And it's like, I kind of am like, if they ever did do a romance route for Serana, can part of it involve her going to therapy first? Like, can we get girl a psychiatrist and a therapist? Like, girl's gone through it, you know? Like, I get why they didn't make a romance arc. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I get why they didn't make a romance arc for her, but also, like, I get why people want a romance arc for her. But I feel like if they did make a romance arc for her, it would have to be done very carefully, you know what I mean? Like, they'd have to be, like, it'd be kind of sensitive. And I'm gonna be real, just knowing what I know about Bethesda quest writing, I don't think they do a good job. So, like, you know, yeah, why does it take me to go back outside again? Where the fuck are the Forsworn then? You can actually get Serana to cure her vampirism in the vanilla game. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we are gonna do, what's his face? We are going to do, that eventually, that quest eventually. We just haven't gotten to it yet. I don't know when we're going to do it. Every time I do Dawnguard, thank you. Every time I start Dawnguard, because we've started Dawnguard on this stream like 8 million times, Dawnguard is like cursed on this stream. Because every time we start it, the game gets fucked up or corrupted before we can finish it. Oh, hey girl, you doing okay?
Are you one of them? Please don't hurt me.
I'm here to bring you to the temple in Markarth.
Then it's true what they said. I'm touched by the gods.
Congratulations!
I've heard stories about the wonders of the great temple in Markarth. I never dreamed that
okay.
I would even get to see it. I am honored to be called for this duty. Please, lead on.
She sounded like way too ready to say that. Like,
they hurt you.
Of course not. My spirit remains strong.
I don't know, like she sounds like she's in a
Do you know what you have to
cult, the way she's
I'm to
talking.
go to the temple in Markarth. I'll have to leave you and Mother.
It's our honor to have you there.
Are you guys
This
in,
woman
like
is
why
gonna
is
take you to Markarth.
why is he staring at me? He's not even looking at his kid. Okay, all right. I don't know. Like the way she's talking is, it's like it sounds like she's been brainwashed, dude. She's like, I am honored to carry the. Girl, you good? I don't know if she's good, chat. I don't know if she's good. Okay, well, let's go back to Markarth. Well, not let me fast travel to Markarth. Here we go. Let's just skedaddly do over there. But yeah, okay. I started talking about this and I got distracted. But this is my last quote-unquote normal Skyrim stream before I leave for Offkai. But we are doing a Skyrim stream Wednesday, but it's gonna be a very special Skyrim stream. And the reason for that is because, first of all, I'm gonna be debuting my 4D model. Right, we have the 2D, we have the 3D, and now we'll have the 4D model, which is just a fun way of me saying I'm gonna be showing off my cosplay of myself for Offkai Expo, because I'm gonna be wearing it at Offkai. It's gonna be really cool, but I know not everyone's going to Offkai, so I wanted to do a stream in my cosplay of myself because I thought it'd be really fun. But what's gonna happen is my friend that made the costume, she doesn't know anything about Skyrim, and I wanted her, because she's really talented, she's a really talented seamstress, really talented cosplayer, so I wanted her to like have a moment to talk about like the work that she did and kind of like how she made the costume, because it's really cool, you know. But I also wanted to traumatize her, so she's never played any Skyrim ever, so I thought it'd be a fun idea to sit down and play through the immersive and epic mod pack with her just to see her reactions to stuff. So I think that's gonna be really funny. But that is, oh shit, books, but that is coming up soon, so I'm really excited. So let me,
What was that?
huh? Oh god damn it, god, I just want that book, bro. I want the book. But I'm really excited to show you guys the cosplay. They made my hat real. I'm so excited. But I think it'll be really fun. I get great joy in showing people the collection when they've never seen the collection before. Because it is admittedly a hoot and a holler. Big Hat Gaming, fuck yeah. Alright, maybe we'll complete the quest and then we'll try to steal shit. Because, listen, I'm not above stealing shit. Because we're stealing shit for historical reasons. For educational purposes, really. So it can't be that bad. Oh, actually just not talking. I brought you your Sybil. There we go. Okay, cool.
Found her. I can't believe it. Let the girl come with me and we can begin her preparation.
Okay.
I will send word to her family that she is in good hands. You've truly earned the blessing of Dibella, child. Prostrate yourself before her altar. And
what does that mean?
Her gift.
What does prostrate mean? Oh, it just means pray. Okay, I thought they were going to do something to my prostate. I mean, it's the Temple of Dibella. Like, what do I know? They're going to shove the statue up my ass? Like, that wouldn't be, like, off-brand, you know? Like, if they were just like, yes, we need to shove this statue in head first, I'd be like, okay, alrighty. Oh, wait, shit. Like, they're freaky like that, you know? They're kind of freaky like that. Alright, let me see if I can steal that book. Because it had that little plus mark by it, and god damn it, I want it. Where's the book? Here, is it here? There we go. Ah, fuck, go away. I want to steal your things. Its arms are outstretched. It wouldn't be a good time. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, just keep walking. Just don't look at me. Don't. No. I need to steal. I want this book. Oh my god. Please. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Anything else? Okay. Oh! Okay, perfect. Alright. Cool, thanks, bye. Alright, I think now I just need to pray to Dibella's altar. And if that counts as helping, then we are good to become Thane of Markarth, besties. This one took way less time than FALKREATH. It was way easier to complete. So, we'll take a look, and yeah, because that's the thing with FALKREATH, is we literally helped someone that was dying avenge his friends, and that didn't count for FALKREATH for some reason. And that was stupid to me. Alright, let me pray real quick, I guess. Is this the one? Let me bless up real quick. Yay, I blessed up. Oh, what? Wait, what is she doing? Is that the... Huh? Why'd she drink the grape juice? Why is the temple covered in lean? Okay. Alrighty.
Oh, hello.
Okay. Alright, let's see. I have now helped. Let's purchase a house. Let's buy a house. It's holy water. What do you think's in the holy water in the Temple of Dibella? FALKREATH is easy. Whim, the Ashes Quest, the beggar, and the farmer. Okay, I need to look into that. Because I was trying to find the farmer, and I couldn't fucking find him. I think I found the beggar. I don't know if I did the Whim quest. Hoary water? Skooma. You know, I'll take it. Drugs for free in this economy? Goddamn. Like, oh... It's fine. I didn't know if that was going to be fine or not, but that's okay. Alright, let's buy a house. Let's buy a house. Let's buy a house. Let's buy a house. Alright, let me see what the fuck is up. How much is a house going to be here? Because the one in Solitude was like 50,000 doubloons. And that was like... So if this one's $50,000, I'm genuinely going to be upset. Because no land in Markarth is worth $50,000. Okay, like, it's just not. If you do the dialect to sell produce to farmers, it counts as helping. That's what I was trying to do, but I just couldn't find it. A tea made with aphrodisiac? Yeah, that would make sense. It's more fun to think that it's skooma, though.
And Igmund's uncle, as well as
32,000! Holy shit. Okay, we have 19K. Okay, well, we did sell a lot before we left. We might need to go back to Solitude, dump into our treasury a little bit. And, yeah, the whole of Markarth ain't worth 32K. Personally, I think a house in Markarth is worth, like, 5 gold and a fillet of fish. But that's just me, you know? And the fillet of fish doesn't even need to be warm. Like, it can be cold. Like, I don't know, man. But we'll go to Solitude. We'll sell some shit. See what's up. And we might need to grind some gold a little bit more. We might just go sell a shit ton of fucking potions. But I'm sure we can get their gold and it won't be too crazy. So that should be fine. I need to go grab water in a second, actually. Let me get through this loading screen and then I'm just going to BRB real quick just so I can go grab more water. I'll just do like a 1-minute ad break. It's not going to take me very long to get more water. Oh, she's like vibrating. You good? You good, girl? You good? $10 a shitty hand job at a Starbucks. Keep going. Not even that. Not even worth a hand job. Like, okay, let me get into Dragonborn Gallery and then... Actually, let me get in the safe house and then I'll take my break just because I'm out of water. And a bitch is dehydrated, you know? Bitches need to hydrate. Like, damn. Okay. How many donations do we have? Let's see. Okay, almost 1K. Not quite enough, but we're getting there. Let's actually see what displays we have, and then we'll head to the safe house. That's I think gonna be our plan. I went the wrong direction for a second. I forgot where I needed to go. Pedialyte and Monster keep me alive. That's so real. See, that's the thing is I can't afford to be dehydrated. I'm a singing teacher. I sing for a living. If I'm not hydrated, I'm dying. Let me see. Okay, now to the safe house. So that should be good. I do need to get the Safe House Expanded mod. Morgan recommended that to me, and I need to check it out, because I don't know. Something about the Safe House, and it might just be nostalgia, because I love this mod so much. Something about the Safe House just hits. Like, yeah, there's cool, like, I feel like sometimes with Skyrim houses, it's like, at a certain point, it's too big, and I can't keep track of it. Like, I like Sejblad a lot, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know where the fuck I am. You know? Like, I like big houses, but sometimes it's like, where do I go? Okay, we made nothing. Okay, how much money do we have? Let's see. You are a guest in my home, Lucian. Do not insult my home decor, you live, laugh, love looking asshole. Okay, anyway. I'm sorry. He looks like he would hang a live, laugh, love sign in his house. I'm sorry. Okay. What we got in here? Oh. Oh. We don't have any fucking money. I think we used all our money to buy the house in Solitude. Okay, time to enchant and grind. So we're gonna do that once. We're gonna take a break real quick so I can grab more water. But we'll be back in 1 minute. As soon as my mouse cooperates. Hello? Mouse? Mouse? It's not letting me leave. It's not letting me run my ad and go on my BRB screen. Mouse? I'm gonna die here, Mouse. You need to let me, if you love me, let me go. Okay, there we go. Alright, I'll be right back. Bop. Bop. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Hello? Hello? I have hydrated. Now I don't have to die. Isn't that nice? Isn't that splendid? Thank you for the lurk, Leo. I appreciate it. Okay. Let's take a look. Take a look in a book. Reading Rainbow. I can go anywhere. Okay. Let's see if we can grind some, like, enchanting, disenchanting, potions. Something like that so we just have a shit ton of stuff to sell. The problem with enchanting right now is I'm really bad at filling soul gems. Like, just point blank period. I am not good at it. We'll sap enchantment points for main weapons, manifesting the energy to usable soul gems. Do we have anything we can use there? No. Do we have any soul gems that are filled? Okay, we do have a few soul gems that are filled, so this definitely has potential. So we might be able to craft some stuff, and then we can maybe make some good stuff to sell. So Necklace of Faith, necklace. These don't have displays, so we'll disenchant them. And then what would be gold diamond necklace and gold diamond? Yeah, we'll do the gold diamond necklaces. Those will probably be the highest value. Yeah. Let's do that. And we'll do greater soul gem. Apparently we have a few soul gems we can pick from. I don't know what the best one's gonna be. 1456, 1490, 1506, 1750. Anything beat 1750? 1779. Let's see. Yeah, if there's something that's like... Yeah, it looks like 17, the 1700 one is our best bet. It would have been nice if I was looking at what that was. Ah, thank you, Vader. I appreciate that. Thank you, gamer. I am really glad that, like, even though I have Off-Guy Expo, you know, coming up and stuff like that, I am really glad that I'm able to be streaming consistently now, you know. So I also have to take another break because I will be in California, you know. But I feel like I've been able to be a lot more consistent than I used to be. And that makes me feel pretty good. You know, that makes me feel happy. Because I genuinely... Oh, shit! This one's... Oh, okay. It's the sneak ones even more better. Okay. Cool. Alright, and then we'll do the gold diamond ring with the common soul gem. We'll also do fortify archery with that one. And then we'll do... Do we have any other soul gems left? I think we just have one. We'll do the gold emerald ring with fortify... I think fortify archery was one. I think fortify sneak was really good. Yeah, fortify sneak. Okay. Hi, Stevie! Welcome in, Welcome Gamer. Has some Skyrim music show up on my like songs and Spotify. Now I have to play Skyrim again. Fuck yeah, you do. It is the curse. Speaking of Spotify, when my original song is almost done. So I'm gonna be putting my original song on Spotify, hopefully. But if I do, some people asked about this, and I want to see if there's still interest. I can also put my cover of The Dragonborn Comes on Spotify, and I can also put my BGM on Spotify. Because I know some people have asked if I could, just because they want to use it for, like, tabletop RPGs and stuff, which, by the way, thank you. I'm really flattered, that people enjoy it. The Dragonborn Comes? Yeah. So if you would like me to add those on there and make it like a little like mini EP, let me know, because I'm totally down to do that. How do you get so much additional gameplay on your Skyrim, by the way? Mods! So pretty much I have around 850 mods right now. I have my mod list link, so if you type !! mod list, I've got a link to the mod pack I use and my like whole ass mod list too, because I think I have 850 mods total. So there's a few like other things I've added too. It's the next book in the series after everyone poops. Yeah, that's the grown-up version. Okay, let's just do a bunch of this so we can see if we can just get, because we're just gonna need a lot of potions. Okay, we need a lot of shit to sell. Okay, so I deadass do not mind if we just go around fucking town. Yeah, that sounds great. But if we go around and just sell a bunch of shit, so we can get that money for our house in Markarth, and then we can mark that one off the list. No pun intended. Let me see. Hello. There we go. Resist frost. Bam, 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 bam. Perfect. Bam. Okay. And then being a PlayStation gamer and playing Skyrim is such a pain. Yeah, I feel bad for y'all. I'm so sorry, PlayStation besties. Like, I know there are some mods, right? Or is it like you guys are confined to Creation Club? Because I don't remember exactly how it works on console. Yeah, even though I played on Xbox, I did not start modding until I got on PC. Although I don't know if mods were available on Xbox when I was playing on Xbox, because I was playing on Xbox like on release through like 2014. I'm not sure. 800 mods is insane. Do you have your mod list order publicized? Yeah, so I don't know if the links are there, but it does like list the names of everything I'm using. I don't have a collection on Nexus just because, again, most of my collection is taken from Immersive and Epic, so that's where you can find the base of things. Like, if you want to play Skyrim the way I'm playing Skyrim, start with Immersive and Epic, because that'll download like 800 mods on its own for you, and it can be kind of a pain if you don't have Nexus Premium, but honestly, you can get Nexus Premium for like a month and then just cancel it, you know, once you're done downloading all the mods you want to download, just so, because that way it'll download the mods automatically and you don't need to click through each one, so you can literally just let like it run on your computer overnight and it'll download everything for you. So it's not entirely a one-click install, but it's been pretty easy to manage. I've been using it for around a year, and I like it a lot. I really like it a lot. So I wouldn't be still playing it if I didn't. Burke has done a really, really good job with it, you know? So, yeah. But yeah. Alright, let me take a look. Alright, so what time is it in the city right now? It's 7:57 p.m. Maybe if we... Please still be open. Please still be open. I have things I need to sell. Please. Please. Hi, Rainbow. Welcome in, gamer. I am gaming. We have helped everyone in Markarth. We just need to get, I think, like 20 or 12K more to buy the house, because for some reason, houses in Markarth are expensive, which is stupid because Markarth is dumb. Markarth is stupid. Why would you pay that much money for a house there? It's fucked up. But, you know, mods aren't allowed to use outside resources. Oh, that sucks. I mean, I'm glad you're still able to have a mod list that you enjoy, you know. But I definitely understand that being frustrating. That definitely sounds like a lot. Okay, you are not the seller person. What? Oh, maybe it's like the store's open.
Hello.
Or like I can walk in there, but it's not open. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Can I just loiter here for like 12 hours? Is that allowed? Like, is that cool? Thanks, Angeline. Thank you. I'm really busy. I have some things I need to do. I'm just so busy I need to sit around doing nothing for 12 hours. I'm sure you understand.
Take care of yourself. Good to see you.
There we go. Okay, cool. That worked. Alright, sell potions. Okay. We're just gonna... I don't use poison ever. So, like, we can just sell all these without even thinking about it, honestly. Okay. Oh, I don't want to sell all my potions of cure disease. Those I need. I don't do smithing with this character, so we'll sell those. And now she is out of money. she has 16 gold left. Okay. Let's go. I don't know why her mouth was just like hanging open for a second, by the way. Let's go into, yeah, I tried to add one of the mods where shopkeepers have more gold, but it broke my game. So here was that. Let's head over to the general store then, to bits and pieces, and then we can probably make a little bit more money. We're probably gonna have to bounce around a little bit. Maybe we'll go to MARKARTH too and sell some shit. But we still need, how much more do we need? We need 9,000 gold. So how much gold do you have? Like, just in general.
Take a look.
How much gold does she have on her? She only has 1,000 gold on her. Jesus Christ. Okay, that's fine. The conjuration spells, I may want to keep some of them. We'll do 4 or 5 smithing can go. I don't think we need 13 resist frost potions. We can definitely get rid of some of them. We have so many different types of resist poison potions. We'll get rid of, oh fuck, okay, she's out of money. Bless you, David.
Thank you.
Alright, and then I think, yeah, we might be able to sell some stuff at Radiant Raiment, but I don't know for sure. But we'll try, you know. I think we're cooking. Let me see. Oh, hey, you didn't have a beard for a second. Wait, what?
Come here. We want to talk to you.
What?
You see, we noticed that you're our new thing.
Oh, I am.
So I thought maybe I should be better acquainted with you.
What's that?
Wow. I'm so honored to see you, Thane.
Thanks. You know, somehow I don't get the impression that you don't mean that. Actually, you know what? I feel like she would just go in. I don't like your attitude.
No, really? What happened? Well, if you put it that way, then we don't like you either.
Why?
You're an outsider. Don't you see that? I don't know how you've turned our Jarl into liking you.
Because I'm cute and fun and sexy. Next question.
You are, and always will be, an outsider.
Okay.
What's become of our tradition? You clearly don't deserve such a high honor.
Bro, are you good, by the way?
You're a disgrace to our culture. Our culture.
You live in solitude. What is your culture? Let's see. I have better things to do.
Sure, sure. The great Thane doesn't have time to listen to some peasants talking. Is that it? Well, leave then. And don't ever come back.
I live here. Too bad.
Been looking for you. Got something.
Now go back to staring at that dead body, I guess. With your buddies. Yeah, your name is Thug. Your name is Thug, and you hang out with people that stare at dead bodies, and this motherfucker doesn't even have shoes on.
Come here.
I've been looking for you. Want to talk? Got something I'm supposed to do.
What you got for me? So David's mom gives him. Yeah, I'm like, hello? Oh, Calcimo gave me a note. You guys something to say?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Hey, you. Come here.
Why is it do I get this interaction again? Here, I'll try the other one just for fun.
Thane. That's because I don't mean a word of it, you moron. There now.
Okay, same thing as before.
What's become of our tradition?
What happens if I pick this one?
I can't even begin to guess what's happened to our Jarl's sanity to raise you to the ranks of nobles.
Damn.
You may be the Jarl's Thane, but not ours.
Wanna try me, bitch?
In case you didn't realize, Thane, you wanna fight me?
Okay, yeah!
Fight all three.
I'll take on 3 dudes at the same time. I don't give a fuck.
Thane.
In combat! You think you have 6 arms to hit me? What I see is 6 bones about to break. Let's teach this prick a lesson. And he's not voiced anymore, apparently. Okay, anyway, if the... Oh, we're brawling, so I can't use magic. Okay, well, that's fine. Let me see.
I won't be showing you any mercy.
Oh, they are going in on me. Hold on. Oh, but we got the posse. We got the homies backing up. Okay, the homies are here. And fucking Tari for some reason. Are they not taking damage from that?
It'd be so much easier if you'd stop squirming.
Yeah, she is not good in combat. So we might need to...
You won't get away from me.
I'm not sure. They're not taking damage. Or my friends are just really bad at this. Although I think one dude died. I think you guys are just really bad at this. Hold on. Can I heal myself, or does that break the rules of the brawl? Yeah, they're not doing damage to him. Okay, we might have to be... We might have to be careful. Yeah, they kind of hit hard. Wait, what the fuck? Why can't I murder them? Can I? I mean, what happens if I just... Is that allowed? Like, they started it. Is this allowed? Is this allowed? I don't know if this is allowed, but... They're not stopping me.
I mean...
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That spell looks dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. What happened to that guy? You just ran away? I think he just ran away. Look at you, you fucking pussy.
Got some bugger off.
Yeah, you're a pussy. Yeah, you can't fight me with this bad boy. Fuck yeah.
Looking for you.
What now?
And a lot of gold. Something about it being your inheritance.
Oh fuck yeah! Actually, we need this so bad right now. Wait, how much is it?
Looks like that's it.
90 gold? Oh fuck. Well, it's not even worth you dying then. If you're only gonna give me 90 gold. Who is this? Who the fuck is this? Who died? Oh, Tari. Well, she's kind of annoying, so it's okay.
Well, it would be nice.
She died defending me though, so I appreciate that, I guess. Alright, I got distracted. App crashed so hard I had to close it 3 times. Oh, I'm sorry. Twitch can be a bitch sometimes. It really can. Well, Tari's dead, but I have this apple now, I guess. Wait, hold on. How much money does she have on her? Where'd her body go? Where's her body? Where's her body? Hold on. I feel like she'd have money on her.
Would you mind dousing that magic? Ah, dead body.
Yeah, someone should really do something about that.
Dangerous.
Yeah, it's a dead body.
What happened?
Yeah, there's a dead guy. Yeah, just move along now. Move along. Okay, there we go. Yeah, she died and I get money. Yeah, I see this as an absolute win. I don't know where her body went, but alright. Let's head in here and see if we can sell anything here. But we do still need 90 gold is not gonna get us house in Markarth on Fortnite. Okay, let me take a look. Let's see. Alrighty. Okay, let's take a look-see. Hello! Sorry your sister died defending my honor.
My sister died. Things won't be the same without
She
her.
defended, you know what? Bad day! I think it's safe to assume she's having a bad day.
Let's see if we can't find an outfit that's
Alright, let's see. What can we sell her? So we'll sell her one of these. I don't know why we're wearing this one and not this one. So we'll sell her this one. And we'll sell her this one. Okay. We still don't have enough gold. But we do have more than we had before. So that's gotta count for something. So we can always just go around. We do still need to go... 90 goes like a 20% down payment though. Bro, with Skyrim, you gotta buy in cash. There's no real estate agent. There's no broker. We're fucked, you know? Alright, we have almost 2,700. So we need like 5,000 more. Shouldn't be that bad. Here's what we're gonna do. I do want to see if we can low-key knock out some of the quests and if we can find some of the more quests in Falkreath. Maybe we might be able to get some of those. We can't buy the house in Falkreath anytime soon because we're about to buy a house right now. But we're getting there. But we're certainly not at the point where we have like unlimited funds though, which is slightly annoying. Although there might be people working for me and finding gold for me in Sejblad. I'll have to check. So let's head in here. Maybe we can make some more money. We did make a shit ton of potions. We really need more soul gems is what we need. But that's okay. Alright, hey.
That spell looks like it'll hurt.
It will.
Trinkets, odds and ends.
Alright, let's see. Potions. I don't know why we have all this vampire beast blood. That can go. Let's go back to the jewelry, I think. So, he doesn't even have enough to buy my finest necklace. Ugh. Is there anything else I can sell for? Here we go. Okay, we'll just sell one of these, I guess. There we go. Alright.
FALKREATH land only like 1,000 gold, ignoring actually building the place. So, I feel like I'm actually not sure because I've never become a Thane of every hold before. We need to purchase a house, like that's part of becoming a Thane. Do the Hearthfire houses count for that? Because it honestly might be cheaper to do the Hearthfire houses. Like, will that count? I'm not sure. Oh, fuck. Okay, can I help you with your crops? Can I help you? I need to help you with your crops. You don't know that, but I need to help you with your crops. Hi.
Indara and I like to keep to
I have potatoes to sell.
Honest pay for honest work.
Okay, that counted as 1. Perfect. Just getting the land is all you need? That we may do. Okay, and actually, you know what? Vanya goes to work. It's like fucking dirty jobs with micro. Vanya's going to work. Can you get out of the way? I'm trying to.
Good afternoon.
I'm trying to harvest some cabbages, bro. I'm trying to do something. Okay. Trying to buy us all a house. Okay. I'm trying to buy all y'all houses in exchange for helping me, but you gotta work with me, besties. You gotta work with me. Building them is expensive in the long run. Here's the thing. I don't really, if I just need to buy the land, I'll buy the land, right? That's always something we can do later. You know what I mean? Because right now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want to get through it so we can continue with the main quest, right? Because we need the Thane weapons they give you, right? But once you get into the Civil War parts of the main quest where you're forced to kind of pick a side, then things get a little tricky, right? Certain things can get locked out depending on how things go. So that is like 100 gold, not a lot, but something. Let's see. Is there anything else we can do in here? Just like easy, quick stuff. We did the gold. Isn't one of them just giving a beggar a gold piece? Wouldn't that count? Are there any beggars around here I can help out or something?
Be careful with that spell, will you?
You a priest of Arche?
I am. I came into Arche.
Last name available. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, gamers. Hello. Roar XD. Hi. Welcome in, gamers. My name is EB Games. If you are new here, I am a Skyrim streamer and I like big boobs. Gonna lurk and stack with the Skyrim stream. Thank you so much. I hope you had a really fun stream. If Ahmad could shout out last name, I'd really appreciate it. If you are totally just lurking, that is okay. I hope your stream went really good. I hope you had fun. And I hope you have a good night if you're not sticking around. But welcome everybody. We are in the middle. We are doing a Legacy of the Dragonborn run currently. So we're trying to collect every single item in Skyrim that we can to put it in our museum. And we are currently trying to become Thane of every hold, just because you get a weapon for becoming Thane of every hold. And once we start the Civil War quest line, some of the Jarls may die. And that may make getting certain Thane weapons impossible, because they're dead. So we're trying to handle all of that now, and we're about to become Thane of Markarth, but we don't have Thane of Markarth money right now, because for some reason, a house in Markarth costs more than $5 in a chicken sandwich. It actually costs 32,000 gold, which is fucked up, sick, and twisted. So we're trying to save up the funds for that. We need like 5,000 more gold, and we're also trying to help some people in Markarth while we're here too, you know? Do you have anything I can do to help you? But thank you so much for the raid. Oh shit, I need to summon something. Yes, here we go. Okay, yes, I can do you a favor. I can. Yes, I'll do it right now. Perfect. Okay, where is it? Mining gold, making into stuff to sell can be good for money. I didn't even think about that. I've been doing a lot of potions and enchanting and stuff, but I hadn't done, I hadn't thought of even doing mining. That's a good idea. I need to figure out where the gold mines are, honestly. The side that you side with will replace the thing that's lost, right? Yeah, but they won't give out the weapons, is what I was told. Like, even though, it'll be, like, replaced and stuff, they're not gonna give you the Thane weapons, is what I was told. Maybe there was a patch to fix that I missed, but when I looked in the guides and stuff for getting through with Legacy, I was told, like, you have to do this or else it'll, because there's a certain order you have to do stuff so you don't get locked out of certain items, you know? Hi, chickens. Let's see. Civil War can break quests. Yeah, that's my thought, is I'm trying to avoid it as much as I can. So, can I help you? Can I help you? Oh, maybe you have money.
Steel's good, but loyalty's better.
If I, help him with the forge, maybe will that count?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, I can craft you an iron dagger. I don't give a fuck. It's probably not, because I think this is just the like tutorial thing, but it's worth a shot, you know. So let's take a look. Iron dagger. Here you go, bud. Here you go, bro.
Only a hearty soul travels the road.
Bada-bop.
Not bad, but it's a little dull.
Yep. Okay.
How about you sharpen it up? Just need a bit of
Get
metal
on the
and
grindstone. Where's my grindstone? I need to be on my Sigma grind set. There it is. Excuse me, sir. Okay, because finding the journal shouldn't be too bad. That I think we can do, but if this is like a quick easy thing, then I'm down. Because also if we can just buy the
Did you want to talk?
No. If we don't have to do an extra whole ass thing, then I'm down for that. You know? Do you not have problems by not limiting the FPS to 60? I haven't had any problems so far. Sometimes my VODs get really low quality. Like the clips are fine that I'll make, but when I go to download my VODs, it sucks. But a lot of people have told me that's like a Twitch thing and not necessarily a Skyrim thing. But I haven't had any problems with performance or anything like that. Occasionally I'll have crashes here and there, right? But again, that could be a Skyrim thing. That could definitely just be Skyrim being a silly goose. It can be fickle. Okay. Ta-da!
Chuckling about, Inigo.
Yeah. Oh.
Spiders. Spluttering, squishy, squashy.
I love them so much.
Try saying that fast 3 times.
Spluttering, squishy, squashy spiders. Spluttering, squishy, squashy spiders. Spluttering, squishy,
They're so cute. Fuck.
Impervious Imperials impress impulsively.
Go for it.
Impervious Imperials impress impulsively. Impervious Imperials impress impulsively. Impervious Imperials impress impulsively. Oh, that's lots of fun.
I'm gonna get a fucking cavity. They're so sweet. God damn. They're so precious. I'm so glad I have both of them. The interactions between Inigo and Lucian are so fucking cute. Alright, let's do this one, and then we should be... We'll see if this counts. Again, probably won't, but it's worth a shot because I'm lazy. The giggle. Yeah, the giggles are so cute. Okay, here you go.
You have talent.
Yay.
Why don't you keep that dagger and helmet?
Okay.
Maybe you'll
Well,
remember
that did nothing, but it was worth a shot. All right. Oh, that's right. I want to sell you shit. All right, what you got for sale? Every guide I've had since the limit FPS to 60 max, I have over 700 mods on my game. Yeah, it goes over, as you can see, a little bit, but it never gets anything crazy. You know, like usually it hovers around 61 anyway. But yeah, I haven't had any issues with it so far. Could that change? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But for now, it seems like we're in the clear. So let's see. We definitely don't need the Dwemer stuff. Or the Dwemer metal. My Riz! Yay! Okay. I think we have a replica of this, so I guess we can sell it just to get some of the weight rid of it. He won't take my... Yeah, we can sell... I don't know why we have this, honestly. He won't take some of my stuff, but that's okay. He has money, but yeah, don't need these. Let's see. Honestly, we can get rid of these. I know it's not a lot, but I want money. I need money. But I think that's all I can sell him. Really, that's worth it right now. I don't have any big pieces of armor to sell him, unfortunately. Let's see. We went to... I don't think did we go to the general store already yet? I don't think we did. So let's check there. We're at 29,000. We only need 3,000 more gold. If we can get 3,000 more gold, we're good to go. It's generally kept around 60 because the game engine is tied with the FPS, so going higher can mess with it. Okay. That's the thing, is I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know jack shit fuck all about how computers or game engines work. I just read the guides. The guides tell me, oh yeah, I did take your money already, didn't I? Didn't I take all your money?
Me?
Yeah, he has 42 gold. Okay. So, let's go then. Let's do the one thing to help the one guy. I know, very, very descriptive, isn't it? And let's see if that'll kind of give us, because we're at 1 right now. I could have sworn we helped someone else. Yeah, it's just 1. But this should help. I don't know what the other thing was, though, to help the people of FALKREATH. I really don't. That's in Whiterun. This was for something else. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. Let's see where that is, and wherever it is, hey, we may find more artifacts. We may find more goodies, so what's not to like about it? All right, find the journal. We can do that. Alright, we'll go by the Thalmor prison because I'm just feeling really quirky today. I like skating on death. Skating on death can make things more fun, you know? Alright, let's take a look. Alrighty. Let's see. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to continue streaming, because my friend is actually on her way with my cosplay of myself to try on soon. So if stream ends kind of suddenly, it's because she's here. But don't worry, Wednesday we'll be doing the 4D model reveal, and we will make EB Games real, but I'm really excited. I'll post some like teaser pictures on Twitter for sure, but I'm fucking hyped. But pretty much my plan today was just stream until she gets here. Oh, keep up, Lucian. They're so, like, that's the thing, right? If you could have your followers date each other, I want to take my Skyrim followers, like...
Do you think I'm useful?
Of course I do, Lucian. Why do you ask?
It's just...
I just want to hold them like Barbie dolls and, like, make them kiss, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm a little less dynamic.
Oh, you're plenty dynamic!
I wonder how much I really bring to the team, you know?
Do not be so hard on yourself. I may joke sometimes about you being weak, but in truth, you are one of the strongest people I know. Look how far you have come since you left home. Look at what you have accomplished.
Look at your fucking washboard abs, dude.
You are a hero, Lucian. You have earned my respect whether you think you deserve it or not. And I am proud to call you my friend.
Inigo, that's... I don't know what to say. Do you really think so?
I am sure of it. Trust me. I have a nose for these things.
I'm proud you're my friend too.
That is lovely to hear, Julian.
Indigo.
Indigo, Julian. I love that they keep fucking up each other's names. It's very wholesome. I love them so much. They're besties. It's so cute. Okay, enough of that. I'm killing people. Wait, can I explode your body?
Let me bash in that.
No, it didn't explode his organs. I just want to explode his organs. Ugh. Okay, it seems like it's a low-level dungeon, though, so we might be able to do some organ exploding, because the Drain Blood spell does have a chance to cause the target to explode. It's just a low chance, but it happened one time, and it was really cool. Okay, what does a girl got to do to explode some fucking organs around here? All right, there's blood boil. All right, let's boil some blood, besties. Hi, Marion. Welcome to organ exploder time. All right, let's see. Who wants their organs exploded? Me. I do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. All right, no more yaoi. It's organ exploder time. All right, what?
How long will we have this piece for, I wonder?
We're in a fucking cave. Shut up, recorder. Okay, let's see. Wait, oh, hi. No! Please. Please let me explode your organs. Please, please, please. I can't. Come here. Let me explode them. I don't want to one-shot them. I want to make them spontaneously combust. Okay, come here. Here. What's the chance of it, actually? Has a 5% chance to instantly kill the target. Yeah, that's what happens. It's 5%, but it's not 0, okay?
Ha, found you.
That doesn't count as instantly killing it. Okay. It just does enough damage. Come on. Come on. Where are you? Also, someone is beefing with me. Pumpkin? Why is Pumpkin after me? The fuck? Okay. Actually, I shouldn't cast that spell. I have no health. let me just, delicious. Pumpkin was trying to fight me, okay? Listen, I tried to be Pumpkin's friend in another playthrough, and they tried to fight me, okay? I'm sorry, but Pumpkin's a fucking bitch. Pumpkin is the epitome of the dog that's like, oh, he don't bite. Yes, the fuck he do! Okay, let's see. Da-da-da-da. Is there anyone else over here? No. Okay, maybe it'll be organ exploding time another time. Maybe Pumpkin is having a bad day. Well, then they shouldn't be biting my fucking ankles. If Pumpkin doesn't die, then I can't fast travel because well, I can't fast travel with a kid anyway, but still. Hi. Oh, let me explode your organs. Okay. Who's next? Let me quick save before I get my ass handed to me. Because like I said, we're using blood magic. So our casting source, instead of it being magicka, is health. Which means sometimes I kill myself on accident. And I'm trying my best to not do that. Okay, come here. Hello? 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 Is there anyone? Oh shit, he's a big boy. Okay, hold on. Guys, help, 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 help. There's a big boy down here. There's a big boy down here. I need my naked men. I need my naked men. Naked men. Naked man 1. Naked man 1, 2. Okay. And let me heal myself. Okay, I thought it was gonna be another like level 1 fucking mercenary that was like, okay. Alright, let me just heal up real quick. And then we'll do some blood exploding. We'll do these 2. I think that'll be it. So that way I have 1 blood spell that's healing me too. Alright, where is he at? Oh shit. Okay, you guys actually may not fucking need me at all. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, with the orc racism. Lydia's problematic. We've known this for a while. Lydia's not great. Okay, we're sucking his blood. And then 1 more. Maybe another more. Yay! Okay, no more blood for you. Ooh, he's got some rocks and some rings. Okay. Let's see. Everything else we already have. What's in here? Ooh, 500 gold. Fuck yeah. Okay, and then potion of healing. Okay, fuck yeah. This is actually... We're still not at our goal, but we're good. Okay, is there anything we can disenchant here? Or can we enchant anything? No, we don't have any soul gems. Alright, it was worth a shot. You're gonna get that house in no time? I hope so. We're so close. But, we did grab the journal. So we helped the farmer. We did the journal thing. What's the other thing we need to do for FALKREATH? Because if we're heading back there, it might... Oh, I forgot about my cat, Jim! Hi, Jim! Jim! Hi! Okay. Just wanted to say hi to Jim. I love Jim so much. Wait, Jim, actually, I need to check his inventory. Jim, do you have food? Do you have food? Are you good? He still has a cat, 9 firewood, fresh meat, and a leg of goat, so he's good. Don't ask why my cat is carrying 9 pounds of firewood. Apparently he can, so who am I to judge? Alright, how do I get the fuck out of here? Is there any more potions I can make real quick, actually? I don't think so, but it's worth checking, you know. Like I said, we're broke. Oh, nope, okay.
I will enjoy that piece of information for as long as I can persuade it to stay inside my skull. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Indigo. Very cool. Alright, there's my long stride move. Here we go. Alright, now it's time to... Perfect. Alright. Let's head back here, get the journal. I don't know why jumping made me lose health right there, by the way. We're just gonna try to not think about it too hard. I guess maybe she like sprained an ankle or something. Maybe she's like... Maybe she just has bad knees or something. I don't know why we lost so much health. Sorry, Vanya. This is what it is. Alright. Let me see. Okay. I think we should be okay. Bad knees, 50 damage. All right, let's give it back to him. But I think we should be okay. But yeah, is there any other like super easy stuff to do in FALKREATH? Because I know just giving money to a beggar will do it. And if we can find that, then we're good. You know, it's just then we have to buy the plot of land in FALKREATH, which is another story, unfortunately. All right, let's see. By the time we go back to what's it called, MARKARTH, though, the shop's gold might have reset, so we might be good. Does anyone remember how long it is until the shops reset for their gold? Because I honestly don't fucking remember off the top of my head. I actually have no idea. Let's take a look, though. We can give it back to him. I thought her boobs were just out for a second. All right, where are you at? Hey.
Do be careful with that spell, will you?
Happy jam. There's one to gather wood for a guy named Hurt and one to find Runo's journal. Okay, so we got the journal. Isn't it like 3 days? Well, with fast travel, we might be okay. Oh, shit, he gave us a whole 1,000 gold. I don't want to learn conjuration from him instantly. I'm good, actually. Let's see, what was his name? Hurt? Hurt. Is there a Hurt in the club anywhere? Is there a Hurt anywhere? There's Dengir. Didn't we help him?
Be mindful.
Oh no, that's the fucking Jarl.
My maid Tikla has been known to pass information to that pompous nephew of mine, Sidgeir.
You say there's a plot against you?
Well, not against me, against all of FALKREATH. Those Imperial bastards are spying on every one of us.
Ooh.
Last night I saw Laud the blacksmith.
Not Laud!
Probably sending word to Solitude and General Tullius. Are you loyal to Skyrim? Break into Laud's house and get that letter.
Does that count? Okay.
Good.
Alright, you said you were the... Oh, he was once the Jarl.
Aye, not so long ago.
Yeah, okay. We'll just... Robbery for the people of FALKREATH, I guess.
Truth is, I found out about all the Imperial spies.
I don't know how the Jarl's gonna feel about that counting as me helping, but like... Alright.
Some friends. Suddenly, the nobles are calling for a new Jarl. And all the while, their pockets are jingling with the sound of a...
He has a cool crown and a robe, I trust him. Yeah, that's a good metric.
THANE. They got my nephew Sidgeir.
Oh, his nephew's the Jarl now. Okay, that's the T. Oh, okay. Well, time for thievery. I can do that. That's easy peasy. Alright. Let's get that, and then we should be good to buy a house. I do want to see... Well, we're not going to buy the house. We're just going to buy the land. Because like I said, we're not trying to get a house everywhere. I don't even need a house everywhere, right? I just want the Thane weapon. So if buying land counts for that, then I'm going to fucking do it. So, let's see how sneaky I can be. I don't know how this is going to work with so many followers. Oh, okay.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Where's your letter? Can I just, like... Oh, damn. Okay. 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 That works, I suppose. Thank you, Laud. Very, very cool. Thanks, bro. Let me see. I see a Discord ping, so I just want to make sure my friend isn't, like, waiting outside, like, hey, girl, let me in. Oh, it says I have a ping, but I don't fucking know where. Oh, it's the Off Kai Expo Discord. Okay, that makes sense. Let me see. Because I was like, I wanted to check just in case to make sure I wasn't leaving her outside. It's me. I'm outside your house. Well, pull up. Come in. Doors open, bro. Pull up. Alright, here we go. If this doesn't count, I'm going to be kind of disappointed, but I will understand. Like, this is one where it's like, yeah, it makes sense if this doesn't count. It's funnier if it does, but here you go.
What's this, some kind of code? Need as much
some kind of code? He had like a little southern drawl to it when he said that one.
Spying, but it's clear the Empire's making Laud smith up more swords and armor for them. Good work. Take this.
Oh shit, 600 gold. Alright.
Oh, you're not as dumb as you look.
So what do you need from me? And that does count.
Seen the open grave in our graveyard.
This might have a legacy weapon attached to it, so I want to check too.
Corpse thief. The truth is less pleasant. It was the grave of Vigar. My own.
Skyrim's on sale for $70.99. Or $7.99. Do I finally get it? Yes. I will always recommend buying Skyrim. Yes. Oh, okay.
Family is entrusted with keeping him
How many packs do you smoke a day, by the way, bro?
Someone stole the ward.
Someone stole the ward stone. Okay. You want me to find it?
No.
Will you teach me how to rim the sky? Fuck yeah. I would definitely recommend playing through it vanilla first before you start modding it. But once you get to the point with, like, you're ready for mods, I will give you all the titties. Alright, I will destroy him.
Good. He will have fled to gather others of his kind.
Okay, cool. Alright, well that counts. How much gold are we at? We're at 31. We're really close. So depending on how expensive that plot of land is, low-key, I might just, like, buy the land now, call it set and good, go back to Solitude. We should be able to sell shit there again, and then we can buy the house in Markarth. It's gonna really depend on how much the land costs. Because if the land's, like, 1,000 gold, then, like, we'll do it right now, right? But if it's, like, 5,000, then it's like, I don't know, you know? Controller or mouse? Personally, I like mouse because I feel like it's easier to, it's easier to grasp stuff. What is an assassin doing here?
Hello, friend. Farewell.
You're very pretty, but that is a Dark Brotherhood uniform. We're on the same side, apparently, but, okay, you know what? You do your thing, bestie. Wake up!
Good to see you. Finally, someone useful is around.
I've helped your people.
Then by my right as Jarl, I name you Thane of FALKREATH. Congratulations.
Yay! Oh wait, did I not need to buy property here? I tried Elden Ring recently and it's impossible with controller. Oh, see, that shocks me. I thought for all the like Souls style games it was better with controller. I am not part of the common rabble, thank you. Okay, well I guess I don't need to...
Until later then.
Maybe I already own property? Shit, okay, well alright, cool.
Jarl has appointed me to be your housecarl. It's an honor to serve you.
Yay! Alright, well, join the gang.
Lead on, Thane.
Impossible with mouse. Yeah.
Yours to command.
Alright, well now we have another homie. Cool. Alright, come on, gamers! Alright, now, if we head back to Markarth, we should be able to sell enough shit where we can buy the house there too. And then not only do we get Thane of FALKREATH today, but we also get Thane of Markarth, and then we hopefully never have to go to Markarth ever again. I fucking hate Markarth. I hate Markarth so much. But I think we can do a lot today. This is a good stream. We are cooking. We are absolutely fucking cooking today. All right. Hi.
Yeah? You change your mind? The Dawn Guard could use somebody like you.
Later. All right, what time is it? It's like 12 a.m., so let's go sleep real quick. We'll grab a room at the inn so we can do some EP time, and then we should be all set. So, let's see.
Would you mind dousing that magic?
No, I will not douse my magic. It makes me cool and sexy. Oh, hey. Sorry. Wrong playthrough. Okay. Hi, can I get a room here, please? Can I room here, please? Room, please?
Forsworn rampaging through the streets.
Room, please.
Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
Yay!
I'll show you to your room. Right this way.
Alright, I think it's... Where's he going? Where's bro going?
I guess in Markarth.
I guess he's not going anywhere. In here? Oh, nope. Oh, it's back there. I don't think I've ever, like, stayed at the inn in Markarth before. I probably have. I don't remember it real well. Alright. Good news. Oh, but what a nice, luxurious bed for me.
Let me know if there's anything else you need.
Can you get out of my personal bubble, bro? I would appreciate that. FALKREATH, Morthal, and Dawnstar and Winterhold Thane ships don't require houses. God fucking bless. Because that's a lot of money. I was kind of concerned. Winterhold literally doesn't have one to sell. And the other three didn't until the Hearthfire DLC dropped. You know what? That actually makes things 10 times easier. So, I'm not sure what we're gonna do next then. So let's head out. Ooh. Yeah, that's because I haven't summoned anything into a while. I have the Pull to Oblivion thing, so all my stats go to shit if I don't summon stuff. So I need to summon stuff soon, but that's okay. Let's go, because we're at how much? 31. Yeah, we need like 600 gold. That should be... Huh? Yeah, it was lit as fuck. Alright. Where is... God, I hate the way Markarth is laid out, but we can hopefully get enough shit here. You bought it? Yay! I think you'll have a lot of fun playing it. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. Let's see what we can do. Hey!
Can't believe Madanak is on the loose again. I
hope
those
Oopsie!
rumors I'm hearing about your part in that are wrong.
You don't know me or my story. What do you have for sale? Mind your business.
Trinkets.
It's using the last of my American money in my spending account, so it's basically free. Yeah, that's fair. That adds up. Alright, you can take this. You can take... that's a display. We're definitely not selling that. Let's see. You can take this. And this. And this. There we go. Alright, so now we even have a little bit left over. Alright, let's go buy that house. And then we are Thane of Markarth too. God fucking bless America. Happy Memorial Day. Yeehaw. Okay, let's see. Because I'm lazy. We're fast traveling because I'm lazy. But that's fine. Alright. I guess the question after we do this is going to be which hold do we do next, you know what I mean? I mean, if we're going, we have Solitude done, we have Whiterun done, we have FALKREATH done, we have Markarth done, so I think there's only 4 left. Let me see. Because we did finish Solitude, right? Yeah, we finished Solitude, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because we got bullied for being a Thane there. So, this one's done. This one's done. I guess next on the list would be Dawnstar then. So we'll do Dawnstar next. But yeah, it's literally just Dawnstar, Winterhold, Riften. I think it is just Dawnstar, Winterhold, Riften, and Morthal. We haven't become Thane of Morthal yet. Does anyone really give a fuck about Morthal though? Be honest. Like, we're still gonna do it, but like, does anyone really care? Oh, and then we're also gonna hit 500 displays today too. Fuck yeah. Okay. Hi. Hello.
I'm Igmund's uncle as well as his steward.
House.
Splendid. There's a
House.
Wonderful. Here is the key to your new home.
I am. Yeah, mama.
Good to have you by my side, friend. I need reliable people.
I did it.
Then, by my right as Jarl, I name you Thane of the Reach.
Yay!
Congratulations. I grant you a personal house card.
Another homie.
And this
a free friend. Can't think of what it's in Morthal off the top of my head. Is that the one with the? I think you're right. I think it is the one with the bridge.
Wouldn't want them to think you're part of the common rabble now.
I am not part of the common rabble. Thank you. All right, and we get 2 weapons. Fuck yeah. All right. Da-da-da. And then who's gonna be my house Carl? Let's see who pulls up, I guess. Like, is someone gonna come talk to me? Usually that's what happens. Anything to do aside from the vampire quest? Yeah, I gotta don't know. Oh shit! Alright, I forgot we got the little achievement. So that means we'll have money for the achievement, because there are achievements specific to Legacy of the Dragonborn. So that's gonna give us some extra gold too, so we can start rebuilding our gold. So now whenever we come here though, at least. I mean, do we want to go to our new house then? Shit. Alright, Proudspire Manor and Lindrel Hall. Where the fuck isn't Proudspire Manor in all the way over here? I forgot I owned Proudspire Manor, but apparently I need to go to Proudspire Manor. Let's check it out just so we can get rid of the little thing. Check out the digs, see if it's hot or not. MTV Cribs. Let's see. Wait, what the fuck? Who just gave me all these gems? Alright, I'm not complaining. I'm definitely not mad about it. But let's check out our house. Just to see. Haha! Again, I'm not gonna spend a ton of money on the upgrades here because I don't really need them, you know?
What was that?
But, wait, what? Why is the Morag Tong after me? What the fuck? What did I do? Why are you here? I am a humble homeowner. Why the fuck is the Morag Tong after me? Honorable Writ of Execution? What did I do? Like, the Dark Brotherhood, okay, but the fucking Morag Tong? The aforementioned personage has been marked for honorable execution in accordance to the lawful tradition and practice of the Morag Tong Guild. The bearer of this non-disputable document has official sanction license to kill the aforementioned personage. For what? What the fuck? Alright. Well, happy housewarming, I guess. From Vanya.
The Jarl has appointed me
hey, bro.
your house, Carl. It's an honor to serve you.
Yeah, apparently I have a hit on me. Okay, well, cool. Join the gang.
Let's not waste any time.
Awesome. Alright, it's a big fucking house. We need some more lighting in here. Alright, this fucking dark in here. I like this big orb in the center. That's cool. Let's see what else we got. Lots of space. Very spacious. This is a pretty big house. Is that like a bathtub? So that's what it's meant to be? Maybe like a fireplace? It's nice. You did the mod quest that has you meet the Nerevarine, right? Yes, I did do that quest. That might be why. That would make sense, but I'm still kind of fucked up the Morag Tong is after me. Oh, cool. Oh, shit. Alright, this is cool, actually. What's down here? Oh, we got a whole swimming pool. Oh, wait. Okay, so this is like our study. Ooh. Oh. And we have some displays. Okay. Alrighty. There's a display there. That's actually really cool because we need the MARKARTH guard armor. Oh, I don't need that. Let's see. Anything else cool in here? Yeah, I am not. Okay. Alrighty. That fucks. I'm happy. I'm a happy camper. Okay. Let me see. Anything else in here? Doesn't look like anything super Gucci. We do have some training dummies, which is nice. Is this gonna be like the other pool where when I walk in it, I'll get naked? No. Okay, that's good. Because there was one pool that we went to at a house in Riverwood where I walked in and it made me naked. And I don't know how I felt about being naked. So, I do believe my friend is here. So what we're going to do is we're going to just real quick, so we hit our 500 displays, because I really want to get that. We're going to run back to Solitude and get our 500 displays. And then we can say we got a shit ton of shit on stream. We accomplished a lot today. I'm proud of myself, chat. I hope you're proud of yourself, too. I mean, I did all the work. No, I'm kidding. Thank you guys for helping me, though, with your information. I appreciate it. Okay. Take a look in a book. Reading Rainbow. We'll also check out the house in Proudspire next time, too. But I am going to kind of wrap up things kind of quick. I just really want to get this stuff delivered because I don't want to forget about it. And I want our stuff. Complete Moonstar has that encounter spawn in any vanilla player homes. Vanilla player homes. Oh, that's great. They don't like leaving loose ends like that. I don't think it'll happen a second time. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Alright, let me grab this. And then we should be Gucci money. So let me see. Any money? 186 gold. Okay. And let's see. Oh, what?
Take this.
Oh.
You'll like it.
I'll like it. What did he give me? He gave me 5 leather. I'm not sure how I feel about a big burly man giving me 5 pieces of leather, but not complaining. Yay! We're at 500 displays now. Let's go! Alright, yeah. That's awesome! Alright, well, gamers, we got a fuck ton of stuff done today. Let's actually take another selfie. We haven't taken any screenshots in a hot minute, and I'm running out of stuff. So let's actually take a screenshot of Anya and the gang. Beautiful. Alright, and now we are good to go. So gamers, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really hope you had a fun time tonight. I know I did. We really did get a fuck ton of stuff done. And I'm very pleased about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. So if you are new in town, my name is EB Games. I stream every Wednesday, Sunday, and Friday at 6:30 p.m. EST. I do have a Discord where you can keep up with me and get announcements about my streams. And I post all my VODs on YouTube. And I'm also writing a fantasy novel with some of the characters I've been playing as today. And I have a Twitter. Yeah. So let's see who we can raid. Who we can send our love and affection to, who is live right now, and we will wrap up. But I hope you guys have a wonderful Memorial Day. If you have tomorrow off, I hope you have a wonderful day off. But if not, I hope you have a wonderful start to your week. We will raid Yumiko. So Yumiko is a good pal of mine. We collabed with her a while back. We played content raiding with her, Alfina, and Yana, and it was a blast. So we will raid her, and our raid message is gonna be, we'll just keep it simple, because I don't think I've ever rated her before. So we'll just do, we can gun emoji, though. Gun emoji is always fun. It is Memorial Day, after all. We have to be American. We'll just do that, and we'll do EB, am I typing? Yeah, here we go. EB raid. And then, gun. Yay! Alright, gamers. I will see you on Wednesday for a very special stream. We'll have my 4D model debut. And I'll post some previews on Twitter, okay? But keep a lookout for that. The big hat will be real. Alright. Bye-bye, gamers. Night-night.